Hold on, we're getting some clarification in chat so we can make sure you guys know too. Okay, I DM'd it back and just asked. I'm here to hear some smoke. Oh no. Look, I think the worst thing I've done is a team that I knew had really bad ward placement one game, and I paused the game and showed where their wards were and the problems with their wards. I don't think we'll get that deep into it. Please, my coach be smoking me already. I'm ready for it.
Woo! All right, baby.
All right, we can make that happen. All right, we're in picks and bans. The first two bans here are Kabrakan and the Guan Yu. Guan Yu is a pretty meta ban here. We've seen him rise and rise and rise with the Fade Blessed Hoops meta, and even though Fade Blessed Hoops has fallen off, he is still up there because his healing is just so easy to hit, and he does a lot of damage, as we know from last night's matches with Frog Random and support.
And I just realized as well, we are watching Killjoy, Fuzzy, and Spooky. On this one team.
This is a fantastic. Okay, because I was just
fantastic match to watch because oh man, that is whoo. I'm pumped for that. I'm totally on board with you though. Guan Yu definitely up there and has a little bit of flex potential as well. Not something that we've seen as of late, but has just a ton of base damage in that kit. So you get to build very, very tanky, very difficult to kill, and still able to just stand in the back line, deal out the damage. But past that, seeing a lot of assassins getting taken off the board here. Daji, Thor, Naja, all taken away, presumably from this jungle role. Been pretty volatile as of late, but that's not going to be the first pick slot. Instead, it's going to be the Hades, likely to go over to that soul lane. Is that first pick worthy, though?
I mean, we've seen it a lot in the SPL level. We've seen it a lot in the leagues as well. I think it's a good pick if you can make it happen, but is it the first pick that you want? I'm not so sure. Yes, you have the Pillars of Agony. It's going to set up a lot for you damage-wise. It has the mitigations, but then you see on the other side, they lock in the number 1 and number 2 best hunters right now in Kernos Ishtar, and if I'm looking over here for DaddyDayCare, I'm like, yo, I'm a little bit scared of Kernos and Ishtar.
Yeah, no, that double hunter composition is definitely where you're going to get some of that pressure from. And I think locking in those two, I mean, typically you almost want to hold on to one of those hunter slots, so that like the enemy teams may be wasting some bans on a mage, or they're questioning how they want to round out their comp. But these two hunters, Kernos and Ishtar, are just so powerful right now. It's hard to hold them until the later stages of a draft, both providing so much pressure, and either one of them can really play ADC or mid. We've seen both of them have success in those adjacent lanes, right? So you still have some flex potential between those two picks, and I'm interested to see how they're going to round out this top 3. Thanatos being hovered, and I'm a little bit questionable on that. Like I get that it does add a lot to your early pressure, right? Like you've already gone early pressure on your 2 ADCs, so maybe you triple down with this Thanatos pick, but it feels like maybe you're putting your eggs all in one basket.
Yeah, it really feels like you're really on the feast or famine train right now with this comp. I mean, you get the double ADCs, you get Thanatos, who's a feast or famine god. Obviously, if you get an early lead, you are going to snowball out of your mind. But I wonder if there's something you could have picked up here with a little bit more setup that's not just an execute bot, because the problem with Thanatos is if you miss the execute, or even maybe if you land the execute, you might put yourself in a really bad position to try to get that kill and set up things for your team, and then all of a sudden, now you're dead and you've lost a lot of pressure that was originally there. So that could be hit or miss. I actually do like the Vulcan Cupid pickup here for DaddyDayCare. I think that's a really good pickup to kind of counter the fact of, I don't know who I'm playing in these lanes. Let's go with things we know play really well and are in the meta. Vulcan is going to do a lot of team damage. It's going to be able to play off that Hades. And then guess who's going to also help set him up? This Cupid with the Fields of Love is going to go a long way. And then we see our last, the bans for phase 2 here. Ganesha Pele followed up by Yamoja Kamazats. A little bit surprised, and we've talked about this at the SPL level. If you listen to the Backlighters podcast this past week with Genetics, Barracuda, and Aggro, we talked about it at the amateur level. I've talked about it with Majin. Yamoja is being devalued, but to see her actually fall all the way to the last ban here, at least they found some reason to be like, hey, I need to get rid of this Yamoja.
Yeah, I mean, in two sports taken off the board, Yamoja, Ganesh, as well as some more of that assassin role taken off the board, as this team on the left side is lacking their jungler still. But going for the Athena on the right hand side for the red team is not a pick that we necessarily see super often, and it's not one that I love here on the right hand side either. Athena with that global pressure, you get some semi global pressure as well with that Thanatos, so that synergy does tend to line up some fast rotations, able to actually get there late to a fight, and it feels like you might still be able to turn things around. But my worry is that they're kind of lacking CC here. Ishtar and Kurnos both have hard CC on that ultimate, but outside of those ultimate combinations, you're getting some roots, you're getting some cripples. The biggest CC is going to be that Athena taunt, and if that is the biggest CC, you put a Magi's on the other team. You get one beads burn, or you have beads up at the start of a fight, and it gets really difficult to engage if you're that side. I mean, I'm really looking for a prime engaged champion here for this last pick out of the red squad.
Yeah, Hanford Hairnets here have to be thinking about what kind of group CC can we get, because right now it's a lot of like, obviously Bramble Blast can multi CC. Same thing with the blades from Ishtar, but it's not the same. It's not the same as having one of those tank CCs for the initiation. You don't want to initiate with those if you don't have to. And that does make me concerned. I'm with you on that front, especially when we see over here for DaddyDayCare, we see Maui, we see Lancelot. The amount of CC that DaddyDayCare already has between the Hades, the Cupid, the Maui is going to be feeling really, really good, especially Maui that can just shut off an absolute area of the map, especially if you take a fight in jungle. This has been taken away now. If you go to take a fight in jungle, you have to worry about an island popping up, and now you can't walk there. You can't go through that area. And then they have a Lancelot that's going to chase you down and have an amazing, set of health with the shield. I get a little bit concerned here for Hanford Hairnets when you have Thanatos Athena being followed up on, and the last pick here is going to be a Bologna, which again, very low on the CC front. You're talking about the ultimate, and that's it. So if we're looking at these two teams, we have one that's CC oriented with a lot of AoE damage, and then on the other side, we have like, hey, we're going to burn you down. We're going to burn objectives. We're going to burn you in team fights, but we don't have the CC to make sure that we get all that damage connected. So we're just going to have to hit everything, skill shot wise. But going into this game number one, which team are you taking here, Frog?
Oh, I'm hugely favoring the blue squad, and it's really not even close for me. The amount of circles the blue squad has is unimaginable. I mean, you have the Cupid ult, you have the Hades ult, you have the Maui Island, as you've mentioned. Add the Vulcan ult to that, the Earthshaker has the potential to come through. These jungle fights are just, you have so many controlling factors. And then you have the Lancelot ult, which, yeah, I mean, it puts him on the horse, it gives him the health, so he's able to survive a little bit longer. But that whole thing is also a cripple field. And you've got these hunters that only have dashes. That's their primary form of escape. That's what they're relying on. And so every single character on the other side has a huge area control ultimate. Every single one, right? 5 for 5. And when you're looking at the blue squad, or the red squad rather, lacking innate CC immunity, right? Outside of those ultimates, which once again, you have to be using those ultimates sort of as your primary forms of CC. So if you're using them defensively, you've kind of lost the fight already. And so there's, I don't know. I don't think that the red team has really set themselves up with the tools that they would want to really be able to fight back into this composition from the blue squad. Although I will say Bologna does have that engage potential. So if the red squad has their front foot forward and they're not at least being used to force these ultimates defensively, if they get in first, I think that's how they're going to have to find these wins and fights.
Yeah, I think you look at Hanford Hairnets here with the Thanatos wants to get online early. These double hunters wants to get online early. If they can snowball early, that's going to help them later in the team fights. If they can force out some of these CC'd ultimates, get the Pillars of Agony and live, get the Fields of Love and live, then I think the fights go more their way. But this is going to be a hard comp to execute. And we're just going to have to end up seeing how it goes here as we hop into game number one. But I just thought about something looking at these names. We played against Camazotz was taken last night. Pretty sure.
I'm just gonna have to trust you. I have no idea. My short-term memory, Blaze, is not something that we can rely on with any sort of reliability. I know we played
sure.
plenty of people last night. I know we beat every single one of them.
Yeah,
so
we did. I'm pretty sure.
If we did indeed play Camazotz was taken last night, that's maybe not the best sign for the Hanford Hairnets because we're not great. So, like, you know, maybe gotta shore up that front at the very least on the support side. But I mean, starting off the game, first thing I'm looking at
Camazotz was just talking to us in chat last night. That's what it was. Okay, I was like, I know I saw the name last night. I know I did. Okay, that's what it was.
Good.
My
That's
bad.
good.
My
He's
bad.
only hanging out. He's only hanging out. First thing though I'm seeing on these starters is 3 deaths tolls on the side of Hanford Hairnets. And like, if you look at each individual character, like, yeah, you buy it, like that makes some sense. But maybe there's something to be said that you're once again putting your eggs all in one basket.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting that lifesteal, I guess. I'm more concerned about it on the front of the Bologna, probably more than anybody, because that's your engage. And while, yes, that lifesteal's going to feel good, you know, you're going to be whipping people, get that extra healing. There's a Hades on the enemy team. There's a Cupid on the enemy team. And Tainted Steel goes a long way. Tainted Steel is also just absolutely slept on as an item, having some of the highest stats as far as, you know, I think it's like second highest in prots. It's insane. The fact that that item doesn't get picked up more is very interesting. I do like what DaddyDayCare did here. They left their support over here, Rachel, over by purple. Make sure there's no invade, no cheeky stuff happening. And he got a ward there. So that's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, off the bat here, I'm a huge fan that neither team's choosing to invade. You know, not a huge fan of the invade meta as we've currently seen it. But interested to see how this dual lane goes. You, of course, get that additional pressure from the Kronos. We were talking about that. But Maui, Cupid have quite a bit of pressure as well, right? Maui just able to jump in, consistently get that CC off, prevent some of the farm. And it looks like they're already going to be going for that fight off the bat as they look to win pressure here in the duo side at the very least. But, I mean, this is a lane that you would expect, I think, the Cupid and the Maui to have the pressure, and sure enough, getting off a ton of poke onto Killjoy, forced to use the beads early on, already poked down to half HP, but they will get pulled back in, and Maui gets poked as well. Likely to be a constant battle in this duel lane.
And Fuzzy and Skills have been over here kind of bopping on Munching. Really had Munching low here. Or actually, it was Fuzzy that was low and got concerned about, but Skills makes the rotation over to Saving, which feels pretty good. Got a little bit worried about life bars over here, so I came over to solo lane, where we don't usually see too many early kills.
Yeah, definitely, though, these lower level games, more potential of solo kills, regardless of what lane you end up in. But, you know, even now, we're still seeing those health bars get traded back and forth over in the left lane. It's maybe our first sign of a gank here in the middle lane. Skills and Magnetic coming around, Scythe off the mark, so that poke won't be happening here at the very least. And as the second round of camps come up, I'm interested in if Skills or either of these junglers are really going to look for any sort of engagement, but instead of stealing a camp, they're trying to steal a life. Skills falls down extremely low. Good body blocks, though, from SpookyMars is going to keep Real Techie out of range for that last hit on the ability. Will save the life of his jungler.
I actually got a little bit worried for a Real Techie there. I thought Spooky might turn that around after the body blocks came through, because the health bar was pretty low there. But the one thing I want to talk about coming into this is we really didn't know, was Kurnanos or Ishtar going to go mid here? And it seems like they decided, obviously, that Ishtar was the better focus for the fight with Vulcan. And I have to agree. I think being able to dash out of the meatball, but also use that as an engage onto Vulcan, where he has no other movement at that point, using the ultimate here. I'm curious to see how this Ishtar ends up going against this Vulcan. I do think it's the better matchup between the two. But I also think Ishtar's a better matchup into Cupid. So we'll kind of see how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can see the positives on both sides, right? That Bramble Blast from Kurnanos is going to be able to take down the turret a little bit easier, but then you have the additional range on those autos from the first ability on Ishtar as well that can do it. So there's positives and negatives. The big thing for me, though, is that only one of them has the innate CC immunity, right? You're only getting that out of the Ishtar ultimate, and when going up against that Cupid ult, the ult for ult trade would have favored Ishtar, But now Kernos versus Cupid, the ult for ult trade is going to heavily favor Jazonk on this Cupid. So that 1v1 potential is still going to be favoring the blue squad over here. And so I'm not sure that I'm 100% happy with them putting the most fight-oriented ADC into a losing fight on the 1v1 on this left side.
Yeah, I agree. And we have a gank coming through, but we also have the solos still fighting each other. So I want to make sure where First Blood's going, we don't know. But it looks like Lancelot got caught out on a ward there, but that was, you know, Magnetic looking to make the rotation into duo lane, try to get some duo lane pressure, which I always love to see from the jungles over in duo lane, because I feel like it kind of gets ignored. But unfortunately end up backing off looking for Spooky, and nothing comes to that. And so far, we just see pretty ordinary picks here. We haven't seen too much backing to see where everybody, if anybody's gonna do any spicy pickups for items, but so far it doesn't look like it. It looks like pretty standard builds across the board. I am happy to see Munching Boo actually pick up the Tainted. I think it's going to go a long way for this Hades, especially later in the game with the prots and the anti-heal, and also ability to kind of steal heals depending if he goes Tainted Amulet or Tainted Breastplate. But I am curious to see where that build goes.
DaddyDayCare has hit level 5 over here in the duel, and a little bit earlier on was looking to see if maybe they wanted to try and force an engagement there while they had the level lead, but will take the slow route instead, and it'll be a dash in by Kamazatsu. And neither team really able to find, you know, the finishable aggression on this left side and really anywhere across the map. Hold that thought though, low in the mid lane, SpookyMars putting out some pressure onto Real Techie, and that's exactly what you want out of this Ishtar. Pretty impressive from SpookyMars that he's able to hit some of those abilities as consistently as he is, right? I'm a little bit surprised that they put Spooky actually onto an auto attack oriented character that requires a little bit more skill. You would think they would you know, rely on him a little bit less and give him something that's a little bit easier to hit, but we'll have to see how it's executed throughout the game.
So that leads me into which one of these hunters is going crit, because one of them has to, right? I mean, you can't just have maybe they both go full auto pin, but if the issue is hitting abilities or hitting you know, autos, do you go the Odibo route and just allow that to tick away?
Yeah, I don't think you can go crit on Spooky. I just don't. I don't think you can rely on the autos as much as you need to. That being said, Killjoy, you know, God's perfect child, never missed an auto a day in his life. Definitely gonna want to go crit on that Kernos, but Spooky under some pressure here in the mid laner. Saker just off the mark, but it will be a finish off by Magnetic to take First Blood onto the mid laner, and it's boiled down to a 3v2. Ray Chill finds the second in this fight. DaddyDayCare the first to pick up some kills.
And that was actually a sick backflip by Spooky there. I thought there was a chance that Spooky got out. I think Skills had to be able to get that ult off a little bit sooner for that to happen. Really great pickup there by DaddyDayCare, and then to force the extra kill there that they didn't necessarily have to get. To go 2-0 there off the rift feels pretty good. It's gonna be a nice little gold lead for them, and they're gonna be able to farm up these camps, get a wave, get these side camps. That's gonna feel really, really good in this early game where we expected Hanford Hairnets to really have the early pressure.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Spooky still maintaining that level lead even after falling for First Blood. So the pressure that he's been able to push in this mid lane thus far, even before that fight happened, still reigning true with the benefits even after that early fight. So I think the big key here is not necessarily going to be those picks, those small fights, skirmishes, right? We're really going to be focusing around these objectives. And 7 minutes into the game, we're not necessarily there yet where we're starting to ask those questions, but especially around this Hanford Hairnets squad, the amount of shred that you have, the amount of potential that you have to take those objectives early and often has to be respected by DaddyDayCare.
Yeah, they had wards up over by gold. I think they're gonna have to get those back up. They need to be warding gold and pyro early and often, because at any point, if Hanford Hairnets gets a pick, it could be one of those objectives almost immediately.
No, you're absolutely right. Will be an ultimate here in the mid lane just to get Real Techie back to base a little bit faster. And I think that gives us a chance to look at these builds, right? We did see those 3 starters start the same on the side of the Hairnets, but I'm looking at these jungle starters and how they're different, right? You get that Mannequin Scepter from skills on the Thanatos, likely wanting that extra burst of damage once you're able to upgrade that. at level 20, but that is maybe not going to give him as good of an early fight as Lancelot's going to get with this Eye of the Jungle. And already you can see Lancelot out to a slight early experience lead after grabbing first blood. So that could be an indicator of where this pressure is going to come from on the blue squad.
Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to talk about was those two pickups. Like Thanatos, this Mannequin Scepter is going to be feeling pretty good if you can start ganking, I mean, just early. Like, you want to use it as much as possible. You want to get that tick damage, that slow going. And then as soon as you get late game, you pick up Hidden Blade, and Hidden Blade just allows you to absolutely pop off with your ultimate or the scythes. But it's getting there that's the problem against this Lancelot. Lancelot's going to play not only aggressive, but he's going to be a little bit tankier just based off the health shield that comes through. And that gets a little bit concerning when you're this Thanatos in fights. The engage, the ability to move around the fights is a little bit better for this Lancelot.
Yeah, the health shield, the innate stats, I think, going to benefit his tankiness. We may even see him build into a little bit of tankiness later on in the build, decide to go hybrid, grab something like that Magi's could benefit him later on. But a little bit of damage traded back and forth in this mid lane. Look for Magnetic to come around the back here if this continues trading back and forth, but smartly backing off. Do not have the jungle there with them, do with the red squad. But at the very least, I'm interested to see when this first big fight starts to break out, and it may be centered around when these soul laners decide to rotate. Interesting enough, Fuzzy consistently has been losing this pressure, you know, falling down lower than the Hades, but has still been keeping up the farm, right? Not really intimidated by the constant pressure here, and has not been ganked once, so, you know, never punished.
That was an interesting ult trade by the two of them there. That was, I mean, just like so perfectly timed as skills goes up here.
Yeah, lands on two, real techie under some pressure. That's immediately his target, but the Maui ultimate will set up for the Earthshaker onto one as Magnetic takes down SpookyMars once again. The mid laner for the red squad will fall, and that will open up a Pyromancer opportunity for DaddyDayCare.
But they do have the tread pushing here in mid. They're going to get good damage on this tower. That's going to feel pretty good as the Pyromancer is just going to go down for free. There's nothing they can do about that. But this is what we're talking about. They're going to run straight over to Gold Fury and look to pull it here as Jasnik is going to be maybe in trouble by stepping up. Fields of Love come through. No steal potential, but good stuns here and just pokes out some extra damage. Actually surprised to see them walk up and look for those extra autos there rather than just walking out. But
yeah,
it is going to be a close one. Spooky with crit and Killjoy with the full auto build from the looks of it.
I don't know about this, especially. I mean, you know, I gotta lay off Spooky for a second. Even assuming Spooky can hit all of the autos he needs to, that's really not where your lead is in this game. And if anything, I think the person you want with crit is the one that you're going to get to the end of the game faster with. You want to get that Deathbringer online as fast as possible. Meanwhile, you know, I'm okay just having XC Kins having those two items off the bat for the person without crit, because then you're helping the person with crit. And KJ is the one ahead here, right? Level 12 versus the level 11, just ticked over to level 11. So he's basically 1.5 levels up over here in this duel lane. And I think he's a big part of the reason that their gold lead is as even as it is. I think KJ by himself might be 500 to 1,000 gold up on this Cupid. Nobody has come over since Magnetic came over and stepped onto a ward. Nobody has even tried to help pressure KJ and pressure the Kernernos and try and help out this Cupid. And so Killjoy has just been able to deal this pressure, deal this damage as consistently as he wants, and it leads to aggressive fights like this. They're looking for the purple invade.
Yeah, I mean, if Killjoy hits a Bramble Blast at this point, it could dispel the end of the Cupid. Does not matter that, you know, unless beads are popped, that's the way they get out, it's going to be a problem. And we saw Rachel look like he wanted to rotate over here, but them leaving this Cupid mid on a plateau is going to be a problem. Yes, over red mid, my bad.
Oh, you're good. Real techie. Had definitely under some pressure there. Thought that Canvas Outs was taken, was going to be able to deal the final bit of CC to keep him in place. But look at skills around the wall. I think Skills going up into the air. Yeah, they're looking to dive on him. Skills takes down the kill on a Real Techie, and Rachel is the only one there. But the triple ultimate brings all three of them under tower and is going to set up for Magnetic here. But a good blink will get Skills out of danger, and it's still a 2v3. I'm not sure Rachel wants to stay in this arena much longer and will, in fact, be forced to disengage. But Real Techie not giving that damage enough respect. Felt like he could have backed up farther and not played for the wave XP, but just let himself be taken down for the kill.
That was a really well-timed blink there by Skills, because I'm pretty sure that was a death if that blink does not go off when it does. Really was looking for that nice rotation in there. Magnetic had a really good positioning coming in. But again, you know, Killjoy is still 2 levels up over there. I think they have to look to try to get some gank off over there on this Kurnos, because if Kurnos hits level 20 first, or that tower goes down first, and this Kurnos starts rotating to mid, it's going to cause problems for DaddyDayCare. As soon as Killjoy is able to leave this lane, it might not be the solos leaving. It might be him leaving to come over and cause some problems.
Yeah, and now finally we do get some action over on the solo side. Thanatos into the ultimate, and the ultimate comes through as well from the support. 3-man rotation onto this right-hand side. We'll finally have one of these solo laners in the dirt, and it will be the advantage towards Fuzzy. Now, all of these players are about 2.5, 3 items into their build, and that feels like the perfect time to start getting these solo laners involved, so it may be critical that we do just get that gank off. May open a window for this Bologna to start rotating, but not if Spooky gets caught out like this. The 3rd death for the mid laner. 0-3 is not where you want one of your primary damage dealers this early on in the game.
No, absolutely not. I mean, 3 ultimates to take him off the map, but the thing is, still really close in XP. So, like, it's not like, you know, you're falling super behind there, but you're going to start falling behind in gold, and that's going to be a problem. Especially when you're trying to go the crit build, and you want to get those items online as fast as possible. Specifically getting the Shadow Steel and Wind Demon online, because those two just work so well together. But hopefully they can start getting Killjoy over here to help with that, get that farm going, and I think that's really, really going to help them. Other than that, we do see the Sovereignty online here for Camazotz was taken. I think that's going to feel pretty good, especially as we rotate into more team fights here. And then, you know, Thanatos has the Hydras, and I'm guessing, I don't know what's that going to be. Is it going to be a Runeforge?
You're on the money. Runeforged coming out 3rd item, and on the other side, Serrated coming out 3rd item for this Lancelot. So maybe interesting pickups here from these junglers, and it's actually the Thanatos that chooses to go into that hybrid build before anybody else. Is they're on the Pyromancer off spawn, but it feels like they're walking into this trade. They're just giving up the Gold Fury, and I can't agree with this call. Like, if you're going to be on timer for the Pyromancer, that's great, but if it requires you to lose the more valuable objective, you have to have some sort, and they had vision on it. They had the oracles down. They can't be taking those trades.
Yeah, I don't think that's the trade you want to take. And I thought Real Techie paused about right here in mid. I thought Real Techie was going to walk over and look for the, you know, the over the wall, try to get the steal. But that doesn't end up happening. And look at this. Cupid in trouble, gets dove upon. The Wild Hunt will be out the mark, but that's okay because Aegis comes through, would have saved the life anyway. But this is the pressure that needs to come happen for DaddyDayCare. They need to get pressure over here for this Cupid. Killjoy is speed running to level 20 here. You know, level 17, right at 17 minutes, is going to be feeling pretty good.
Oh, yeah. He's on the level 20 in 20 minutes track. No question about it, right? So you have to find damage elsewhere on the map if you're DaddyDayCare. The one saving grace perhaps is that you have a small lead, seemingly, you know, in your 2 other damage rolls. In that jungle roll, you've got about a half a level lead. You're into that 3rd item already. And in mid, you're starting off the Vulcan maybe a little bit slower, right? The fact that he has not been able to find a massive lead here is maybe a little bit disappointing because of how many times you've taken SpookyMars down, but he is half a level up or so. And now it's SpookyMars with the rotation over towards the soul lane. A little bit interesting. Not on the same page with his Bologna on the dive, but it will be at the very least a tier 1 tower, and Fuzzy is not satisfied at all. He wants the Hades. He wants the final bit of damage, but the blink will keep him alive, and Ray Chill was there just in case. But the red team still very aggressively positioned on this right-hand side of the map. Real Techie's got to be careful here, stepping up, gets taunted back, and already down to half HP. The Thanatos ult used defensively, though, and SpookyMars just barely gonna get out as well. Fuzzy trying his best to escape, but will get pulled back in by the Maui first ability, and it will be no kills traded back despite some very low health bars on the red squad.
What a frustrating moment there for DaddyDayCare. I mean, you see these low health bars, you're like, okay, we could turn this around. And then they all just run away. I'm actually surprised Skills didn't go up and ult there and look to pick up Munching Boot in the Titan room, because that's what I thought was about to happen. Just a huge play there for Hanford Hairnets, though. They go over to this solo lane. They get, a tower. They look for kills. Spooky just takes the whole tower by himself the entire time, which is actually insane. Gets the Aegis off, lives through a Vulcan ult. Just really well played. And they might be behind in kills, but they're ahead in gold, and that's saying a lot here, as we might finally get the gank over on a Killjoy. Field of Love comes out, and Magnetic Excalibur is on the way.
Yeah, it does have that third ability, but the Athena ult, global pressure to help out the ADC here, and look at how he's keeping the range. Camazotz finishes off the external hunters. Killjoy trying to keep the range on these basic attacks. Fantastic dodge out of that ability, and the silence will be good, as the Thanatos is now here to help out his teammate. KJ has stayed alive for so long,
no
and his
way.
team helps out the ADC and keeps him deathless.
What an insane play there by Killjoy. Just perfect positioning, perfect dash, perfect use of the Aegis. And it's not just going to be the kills they pick up there. They're going to get a tower.
Yeah,
that is just crazy.
They're continuing the pressure. I mean, they may even be able to push down more on that left-hand side, but it looks like Killjoy has back to base as well as the support. And look where they're beelining towards this fire giant on the map, and has been for the last 10 minutes, and was still 10 plus seconds on these two members in the base. This may be the objective they're looking to start up, but Killjoy instead looking for that farm in the mid lane. Maybe not on the same page, but regardless, Hanford Hairnets starting to position around this objective may be soon to be taken down.
They're going to go ahead and get this Greater Scorpion off the mark. It's going to feel pretty good. Get rid of their enhanced buffs. You feel good about that. Munchie Boot is just getting aggressed upon here, and this is a sad time. Has to dash out. Fuzzy goes over the wall and puts him down.
Eagles rally takes down the enemy solo laner, and Fuzzy, look at this zoning ability. He's going 1v4 to take down the side of the blue team, and that was hopefully to make space for his team to take down the fire giant, but they haven't done enough damage. It's allowed Magnetic in on the back end. They're looking, they take the fire giant away. DaddyDayCare picks up a trade and goes 1 for 2 with the fire giant, but they're still in the pit and they're looking for more. Jazong takes down the second one, and it's Killjoy fighting for his life, desperately trying to stay alive from this position at half HP, and Spooky unable to do the damage as well. Luckily, both carries survive for Hanford Hairnets, but it's the fire giant taken by the blue squad, and a huge swing for DaddyDayCare.
What an amazing steal for them. I saw them walk up, and I really thought, if they get the steal, they're going to die for it. But not only did they get the steal, they're able to pick up the kills and push down a tower. This is feeling amazing for them. They also get to stop the Treb in the left-hand lane, so they don't have to worry about that getting pushed down here. We're now seeing them be able to fight back in. They had a gold deficit, doesn't matter. They were able to sustain and live against Killjoy here, who is level 20 already. He's level 20, the only one, and was doing lots of numbies, is able to live. And this could be the turnaround DaddyDayCare has been looking for. They've been able to get these picks here and there, but they left dual lane side by itself. And I don't know about this. Is Oni Fury the move? I think you go just straight and looking to push down towers, but they're going to get that little bit of extra pressure in each lane to make sure they can push down this left-hand lane.
They got the time. They're playing to close up this gold lead, and which is still in their deficit, right? But they've got these towers in the map, this global gold, ready to be picked up. And I'm not sure Hanford Hairnets are going to be in a position to be able to put up a defense. Only 2 members here on this left-hand side around this tier 2. Nobody's going to be in position. In fact, Ray Chill looking to be aggressive as this tier 2 tower would get taken down. And it looks like this may just be a standard siege from DaddyDayCare, looking to close up the gold lead, get as many of these towers off the board as they can without taking a huge game deciding fight. But I mean, talk to me more about that Fire Giant steal, or talking more about that Fire Giant steal. This Hanford Hairnet squad just is lacking that true secure. They don't have any of the mages, right? But it's not even going to be time to talk about that. Fuzzy forced to use the ultimate in trade, but look at the ultimate 3-man ultimate from Skills. The hovering death takes down one and allows his teammates to get the other two. KJ and Spooky combine for a double kill, and Ray Chill is caught alone in the backline, surrounded by red health bars. He's not going to be able to make it out of there alive either. Real Techie able to trade one back, but the double taunt is going to help Killjoy take down the second, take down the third here under the tower. Hopefully, finally, they add Ray Chill to the members they've taken down, and it's only Jazonk under this tier 1 tower that is alive, and he may not be for much longer, but a huge answer back from Hanford Hairnet.
They have to push this mid tier 2. They cannot let this go. And this is the thing that got them in the Fire Giant. You have Fuzzy go in 1v4, hoping the zone's going to happen, that they can burn this Fire Giant down. They weren't able to. They lost Fuzzy. They lost their tank. They lost their disruption. But this time, Fuzzy goes in. He gets everything he wants and more out of DaddyDayCare, and then they're able to turn it around. And that's what they needed. Huge plays there by Skills, as now the fight takes place under the Phoenix here. Skills is back up looking for more.
Hovering Death gets 2 again, and it's Skills turning the fight around as they look for this Phoenix Siege, but it's still the red team forced to back off. They got that down to half HP. They brought the tanks, and I thought they may be able to push that down and take the bird off the map. But they did steal the speed buff, and that is a huge win in and of itself. Game-changing.
Yeah, that's the mental W. That's the mental W when you're in jungle, okay? You get your speed buff taken, you're tilted. It doesn't matter if you're in the lead. You could be 10-0. Your speed buff gets taken, you're heated, all right? They went all the way down the map to take your speed buff, and then they left it there? Disrespectful.
Game might be over. Game might be over. You know, I mean, it's just that, it's that level that you might not be able to come back from that mentally, but DaddyDayCare, they're still holding on to it, right, at the very least. And now we have to talk about this next Fire Giant fight. Nobody was able to get a Phoenix in that entire siege. Got a lot of towers taken off the board for either squad. But it's looking to be set up as an even 5v5 over here around this next Fire Giant. And I think it's on Hanford Hairnets to try and adapt and identify what they did wrong, because they had the advantage last time and they threw it away.
I mean, the problem that DaddyDayCare is going to have here is Hidden Blade is now built on Skills. He didn't have Hidden Blade before. Skills has just been going in with Mannequin Scepter. If that ult lands with a Hidden Blade proc, I think the game's over. I don't think it's going to be close, especially with these 3-man, 2-man, ults. They've been feeling really good here. Fuzzy's not going to dive in 1v4. They're going to get a pick early from the looks of it as DaddyDayCare steps up, and it's a bad position for them in this fight.
3-man Eagles rally, but the enemy Soul Laner goes in and finds a 2-man ultimate of his own.
Skills.
And Real Techie picks up the first one. But look at the execute, perfectly timed by Skills as SpookyMars picks up Munching Boo on the back of the fight as well. Beads forced out from Real Techie, but Killjoy is going to take down the jungler as well. A 3-for-1 trade in favor of Hanford Hairnets, and they've got time to back to base before they even need to look for this in a blink. Just off the mark from Skills taking down the mid laner, but that means that they have the tools to potentially be able to steal this. No zoner available as Fuzzy's still down. This Fire Giant isn't secured.
No, I mean, this is dangerous territory for them. You have Real Techie that I'm imagining that ult's going to be up in a decent amount of time here, but they're actually not going to make them move over here. They're going to let Hanford Hairnets have this for absolutely free 99. This a nice free Fire Giant so they can push with it. And it's going on 4 members. I don't think Hanford Hairnets realized that DaddyDayCare just wasn't around at all. They could have waited so Fuzzy Wuzzy could have had it too.
Yeah, just a couple of seconds would have given your Soul Laner that Fire Giant. But I think DaddyDayCare, they identified that, they have, it's only a regular Fire Giant, right? It's not EFG just yet. It's not debilitating. They're down still 5K or so gold, but at this point, a lot of the towers have been taken off the map. There's not a lot of global gold that the Hanford Hairnets are going to be able to just take for free, right? So the next step is a Phoenix defense, and I don't hate their Phoenix defense, right? I mean, I think that Earthshaker is really solid setup for these members that are going to be forced to group up, essentially. And I think that as long as they're able to organize their fight properly, get that Soul Laner in first, get Munching Boo to absorb a bunch of those cooldowns, they're going to have a decent time fighting into this. But if they're not careful, this double ADC comp's going to take down a Phoenix in the snap of a finger. Like, it's just going to be gone. So they have to be ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to be calling Skills. Skills is who they need to watch out for if you're DaddyDayCare. He's really just been turning these fights around to such a crazy amount of damage just getting dropped upon them out of nowhere. And they keep being grouped up with the carries. They stand in a perfect, diameter of the circle there to where Skills gets multi-target ults. And now Skills is the one stepping up here and just absolutely shreds Magnetic Boo, but ends up dying for it. No!
Oh no, the jungler taken off the board early is going to significantly slow down the Hairnet siege here. They do not have that hovering death engage that they've been relying on the last couple of fights, so it has to be somebody else. Granted, they have the tools, right? They've got the Eagles Rally. They potentially have the follow-up from the Defender of Olympus to come in there. Like, it's not like they don't have tools, but I mean, you're wasting 60 seconds of a Fire Giant potentially here, even more as he's going to walk back in the lane. And you essentially wasted the Oni Fury as well, right? Those Oni waves just got pushed up. They were able to be cleared. And there's no push. There's no capitalization, all because of that one pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the comms were like there. Obviously, there was something they're looking for. But stepping up by yourself as Thanatos into a 2v1 at their base is a little bit unfortunate, and really and truly that's just going to completely hamper this Fire Giant power play. I think they're just going to have to play for the next one. That's just unfortunate. I will say Killjoy's been full build for quite some time, and Jazz still is not, so that is kind of wild. We're 30 minutes into the game and Jazz is building an auto attack build. It's not the expensive Deathbringer build. So kind of curious about how they can get farm for this Cupid, because I think, once its itemization's online, Cupid's going to be feeling pretty good. But look at this. Hanford Hairnets are repositioning to go for this left lane again. They're showing two. And I'm curious because Fuzzy's on the right-hand side of the map. I'm guessing they're going to look for that teleport in. But we'll see how this fight goes.
Question. I mean, this Fire Giant is close to falling off, right? I mean, we are just 20 seconds or so away from this belt being off. They really have this one wave, maybe the next set of waves they could try for it. Fuzzy does have the teleport here, but this wave is going to be cleared by the side. I'm not sure that they're going to find their way in. That like they're holding on to this for just to milk the last drops of potential that they have. But Fuzzy doesn't have that Fire Giant anymore. He's already taken down a half HP, and both Soul Laners in on the respective sides. Is Munching Bob still able to stay alive, and they will be traded. Ooh. And now Skills comes in from the jungler and takes down the mid laner and looks to take down the enemy jungler as well. Some relics get forced, and I'm not sure they have enough left in the tank to defend this Phoenix, despite the fact Fire Giant now off all of the members of the Hanford Hairnets, but they do not need it. Skills does not need it, and will take down 3 in this fight, make it 4 if he can find the jungler, but I'm not sure he's got enough left in the tank. Surely, though, his team has enough to take down the Titan at this point, as it will be a virtual deicide for DaddyDayCare, as every single member other than the jungler falls, and the Titan will fall as well.
What an absolutely insane engage there by Camazotz was taken. Just like a fantastic dash taunt in. Really just set up that fight. Fuzzy was able to go in off of it, get the ultimate in, get a nice stun. Yeah, jumped into Fields of Love. But then you get Earthshaker off of it. You get just so much value off of Fuzzy just going ham in that fight. And yeah, he falls. But all the ultimates are down at that point, pretty much. And you're just able to shred and win the game. That was an amazing siege there. After, Fire Giant's falling off, you don't have the wave. It was kind of like, yeah, we could leave and go for Enhanced Fire, but they decided to go in, and they win the game off of it. And Killjoy goes 4 over 11. if we're going into game number 2, DaddyDayCare needs to figure out how to get Killjoy off the map.
Yeah, I mean, it was Killjoy, and I think it was really skills as well.
Skills.
This Thanatos, we questioned maybe the 3rd pick in the draft for the Thanatos, but I mean, they played fights so perfectly. There were times when Skills was looking to engage, and he found 2 and 3 and 4 man hovering deaths, right? Does not need it for the execute at that point. Those were able to turn the fights around. And then there's that last Phoenix Siege where, just like you mentioned, Fuzzy is the one going in, and he's the one making space. And who comes in after the enemy team has used everything? All their cooldowns are down, all their ultimates are down. Sure enough, it's Skills in for 3 of the 4 kills that happened there on that Phoenix Siege. So, I mean, just playing perfectly in and out with the junglers, with the jungle solo combo. And then, you know, finally, you get back to the back line. Maybe at some point you kill the jungle and solo lane. Like, they didn't go deathless, but the ADC went deathless. Like, you can't break through all of those powerhouses putting out the damage consistently in these fights. And I'm not sure you can take away all of these picks. There needs to be some other strategy. And maybe it's not first picking this Hades. I'm not sure you got the value out of it that you wanted to.
Yeah, I think the Hades has to go. And not that Munching Boo played bad. I think it's just you gave up Ishtar Kurnanos for Hades. And really, I think you could have got him later on in your draft. I did think the Maui, really good. Lancelot, really good. Cupid, they got value out of. Vulcan, they got value out of. But when you're playing against Ishtar Kurnanos, and then it's like, oh, hey, we have to worry about that damage coming out. Oh, God, a Thanatos landed on my head. I'm gone. That's a problem. I'm expecting Thanatos to be banned going into game number 2, and I'm expecting Ishtar Kurnanos to be taken away. I think you could kind of leave the rest open, but I don't think you let Thanatos through again, especially because let's say they take away Ishtar Kurnanos. If I want to play Thanatos again, I can tell you who I'm locking in ADC. Xbalanque. And the lights are going to go out, and I'm going to be on the gray screen when you get it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, there's certainly a lot of options still left on the table, right? I mean, we played 10 gods. There's something like 120 out there. So plenty opportunity for both of these teams to go back to the drawing board, fix what they didn't like, try and bring a different idea coming into game number 2. Well, we are going to come right back with that game number 2, and I am going to take a quick break. I'll be back.
Yeah. Sounds good. By the way, chat, thank you, Sinful TD, for the follow. I appreciate that. I think I got everybody else there. Thank you all for coming out. I really do appreciate it. I normally stream at like 9:30, 10 o'clock Eastern is when I usually start up. We're starting early tonight because we wanted to get this cast in. So glad y'all could come out. I know it's a little bit different than normal. I'd love to stream at this time regularly if I could. But thank you for all the new follows. We're vastly getting close to 500 followers, and we just hit 450 not too long ago. Thank you, Spooky. Spooky popping off on the Ishtar, dude. I love Ishtar. Can't believe that I wasn't already following. It's all good, man. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But yeah, you know, you do not love Ishtar, really? I love Ishtar. I am an Ishtar. I think that might be the fastest god of Diamond. It's between her, Charybdis, and Danza, but I think I played that god in every role when she came out. Played one god that I was truly wanted to play this set. I got you. I've been there. I've played a whole entire set as Amaterasu, well, a whole entire season as Amaterasu, except for like 3 games once. So I've been there. I know what it's like to want to play some other stuff. But for those that don't know, Jail, yeah, dude, it was a time. It was a time. But for those that don't know me, I'm Blaze McBain. If you're new around here, I help out with AGL casting and production from time to time. I was part of So You Think You Can Cast, which up until that point, I've really always casted by myself. So I really love getting a chance to cast with somebody else like Frog. Frog has a vast amount of experience, is so good. Jazz, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
Joy.
Maybe, and then I help out with AGL a good bit. I help out with other leagues from time to time if they reach out. Anytime you want to game casted, feel free to shoot me a DM. I love doing this. It is my favorite. One of my favorite things to do on stream is cast and do commentary for Smite. Kenny coming through with the gifted sub. Thank you so much, Kenny. Aprilis Archite, thank you for the follow. Thank you. But anytime that I can get cast done for you all and get your games casted, I'm always about. I used to help out with the Bot G League back in the day. I've helped out with some other stuff around here and there. I also I play comp. I coach comp. Anytime you guys have questions, you ever want to, come hang out, talk Smite, let me know. Also, I help out with Uber Casual Smiters, which is something that Leaf Warrior came up with, and I work with Biakai, Leaf Warrior, Boom555, Alpha Jackal, and those guys, getting non-conquest oriented, well, not necessarily non-conquest, but non-competitive conquest oriented tournaments hosted each month. We give away skins and battle passes. Our tournament will be announced, I believe, next week, and we're looking to do it centered around the new adventure. I just have to check into some details about that, so stay tuned for that. And along with that, if you would also like to check out, we're going to be hosting a DKO tournament. If you have not played DKO, it is a really fun 3D brawler. I'm not sponsored by Hi-Rez in any way, shape, or form, but it is a fun game, and I'll be looking forward to hosting a tournament and casting some of those as well. If you want, let me get a link for you to use your Uber Casual Smiters. I'll join the DKO tourney if I get to 1v1 Frog. Hey,
Wait, 1v1 in Smite or in DKO?
DKO.
Bet.
I am playing Smite later, Kenny. I'm going to be doing Smite night. So we're going to cast this set. After this set's over, I'm going to end stream for a little bit. I'm going to go chill with my wife, and then I'm going to come back, and we're going to do Smite night, where we play the Smite night. We play just Smite in general. It's Saturday Smite night. I always called it Smite night before they ever introduced Smite night. So now it's kind of weird. And we'll be playing that, and I'll hop on DKO after that. So tonight's event is it's Corrupted Arena. Ugh. I mean, I'll play a few games if we have fives for sure. We can meme around a bit, but I'm not thrilled to play Corrupted Arena because it bothers me.
Tell you what, my night is yours, Blaze.
Let's go.
Just literally on Smite and on DKO.
Let's go, dude.
The whole night.
I also love Corrupted Arena. I don't like Smite Night Corrupted Arena because people do crazy stuff. Like last week, I played All Out Slash and I played against 5 Noxes. Okay, I'd like to not deal with that. That's what we like not to see.
Can you tell me if you can hear this real quick? Did you hear that?
I did not at all. No, I didn't hear anything.
Unlucky. I've now acquired alcohol.
Oh, nice.
So
let's go.
It's much better. I'm really excited about it.
There's a link if you want to join Uber Casual Smiters Discord. Like I said, it's a bunch of we have Alpha Jackal, Alloway, Biakai, Boom, Kitten of Doom, Loki Dad, Nev helps us in there, Snortolini, Soj King. All those people help out. If you ever want to come and check that out, feel free. It's all free tournaments that we do. We give away skins and battle passes, so feel free to check that out. Did I put that in the link tree yet? I thought I did, but I'm not sure. Let's find out. It's not. It will be there in just a moment because I am not okay with it not being in there. So give me a second, and then we'll hop into game number 2 here.
Spooky, we can 1v1 IRL if you want. I can assure you, whether it's a 1v1 in Smite or in DKO or IRL, you will be on the losing end. You can pick any arena you want.
Yeah, there we go. Boop. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Add. Where'd that go? I don't want that there. I want to go down. Okay, Uber Casual Smiters is now on there. We'll put it right there. All right, it's on the link tree now. I don't have to worry about that. Gonna be lurking during game 2. This man gonna go for the knee kick and put me out quick. I love the rhymes, dude. Let's go.
I'm just trying to be respectful, man.
Spooky, that's how I've been feeling about casting. I got a bunch of casting this week, which felt really, really good. Because I was really worried that I was gonna be a little bit off tomorrow.
Oh, dude, I hated that. I think that might be one of the worst casts I've ever done.
Frog didn't even join my Taekwondo stream. Shake my head. I couldn't read there for a second. Ignore that. Are we ready to head into game number 2?
I am ready. Absolutely.
Right, let's do this thing.
We're warming up. So hopefully we'll like that wasn't great, and then on game 2 we'll be okay, and then on game 3 maybe we'll still be okay.
Hey, that's fine. We take that. That's
We'll
dubs.
get there.
Yeah, slowly but surely.
That is indeed dubs.
I don't think
All right,
I don't have to change the names of the teams. They're on the same size. We love that in Spectator, okay?
We do indeed love that, and that means that the red squad, I can't remember names again. The
Hanford, Hairnets, and DaddyDayCare.
Yep. Hanford Hairnets, after winning. So was the other team, right? The DaddyDayCare lost.
Yeah.
And they chose first pick again instead of going for that second pick. And we saw how valuable that second pick slot was for the Hanford Hairnets, getting Ishtar and Kernerno. So a little bit interesting that they chose to keep that first slot here, but maybe they'll take the advice and try to get something else valuable in that first slot instead of the Hades. In fact, banning the Hades away confirms that it's at least going to be a different look here for game 2.
Yeah, they ban out the Hades on themselves, which I always respect when you don't want to see a pick again for yourself or the other team. And then they come through and the Ymir ban comes through. And I'm curious if they're worried, what made them worried about Ymir here. I mean, I think Ymir is really, really good, but what drove them to ban that this game, not last game?
I think it was banned last game, right?
Was it? I didn't think so.
I think they banned Ymir.
Oh, look at this.
I think they banned Ymir, Guan, Naja last game.
Maybe that was. Maybe I'm just...
This time around, though, they don't ban either of those two assassins, and sure enough, Thor, unbanned in game number 2, will get picked. This time, though, Naja was one of the bans in game number 1, and up potentially for the Hairnets to pick if they want to go in that direction, if they're valuing it highly. But at the very least, we are going to see, forced those major changes on the Hairnets side. Both of their ADC picks, both their ADC and their mid laner, taken away by one by themselves, one by the other squad. So they're going to be, forced to go to different picks in those lanes. Surprisingly, perhaps, the Thanatos still left up. So Skills could go back to that pick if he wanted.
I actually like this draft a lot. King Arthur, Ganesha. I mean, you've taken both your tanks here. That leaves a lot of counterability. But I like King Arthur, very good in the lane. Ganesha does a really good job silencing people out, locking down the area with the Dharmic Pillars. I think that's going to be feeling pretty good. But it does leave it to be countered. But what I like about it is it leaves it to where your jungle might get to counterpick and your carries. So we'll see how that goes. Scylla is going to be the pick here for DaddyDayCare. I think, you pick Scylla for 2 reasons. You don't want Spooky on that at this point with the Ganesha on that team because that just sets it up. But along with that, Scylla does massive damage.
Yeah, I think Spooky's been a little bit, or not Spooky, excuse me, Scylla has been a little bit underrated as of late, right? Like we have not seen as much of her, which is almost surprising given the amount of damage that she does with these builds, right? I mean, we're favoring stacking builds in almost every mid lane role at this point. You're either putting Warlocks or Book of Thoth on there, so you're slowing down the early game a little bit. And Scylla, that's the only time she wants to be slow, is the early game. And then you get to the late game and you've got Protection Shred built into the kit. You've got one of the most damaging abilities in one single hit in the game, and it has the potential to go off twice and then 3 times. Imagine if you had 4 Earthshakers in a fight and you could target them on people. So there's a lot to be said for the amount of potential damage coming out of the side. That plus the fact you've got this Cupid back over in the ADC role, looked solid there in game number 1, maybe looking to put him against a slightly better matchup here in game number 2, and that Thor, potentially one of the most heavily contested jungle picks for a reason. You get that semi-global pressure now on your side instead of the enemy side, and you get this top 3 out of the Hairnets, which, definitely have some positives over there. Ganesh, King Arthur rounding out the tanks, Morgan the Fae pushes towards, you get a magical in there, which you were lacking last time around, but now you have the opportunity. You can take away the Thanatos, and the other critical factor there from game number 1. So I'm much, I'm a bigger fan of how the blue squad is looking here already after these top 3s.
Yeah, I think this draft so far looks better for DaddyDayCare. I'm a little bit concerned for the Morgan Le Fay here. I mean, Scylla has a lot of setup with her team already with the Thor Cupid and just be able to root herself. This could spell a bad time in the mid lane if this Scylla, I mean, after just tons of buffs, is able to come through. Wait a minute. Un momento.
Now,
what's happening?
We did see a mage in the solo lane last game. Now, granted, it was a different mage.
Okay.
And it was a tankier mage, but yeah, hopefully we won't see one of these mages in the solo lane this time around. Instead, it'll be the Scotty hovered. Now Danza hovered, but Danza locked in. I like the Danza. I'm a fan of the Danza. I was saying yesterday how we're not seeing this pick in the SPL. You corrected me appropriately, and despite the fact that it is a main, like it's just Barracuda keeps going back to it for a reason. I mean, the guy doesn't miss.
And first picking it, by the way. First picking it so his team can counterpick the rest of the set. That's insane. Insanity for an ADC to do that. Especially with Downs and Burrow, who is heavily counterable. And I really like the engage that Downs and Burrow brings. I like the ability that he has a lot of CC in his kit with the taunt. And it's going to go a long way. Now, the problem being for the Dons and Burrow is they just lock Kabrakan. And that just stops your ultimate. So this could be a very bad time for Killjoy. They're definitely going to need the Phantom Shell here, but that's not going to help the ultimate. They're going to need to figure out something for that.
Well, it's got its positives, got its negatives. As Danza, you get into that leaf form, you can go right through the ultimate, right? So, I mean, there's some potential for that ultimate to get countered out. It's really on whether or not that timing is going to be perfect in these skirmishes over in the dual lane and as these fights come out. But contrary to the draft strategy of the Hairnets, it'll be DaddyDayCare picking up their 2 tanks last in the draft. Jazonk and Matching Boo just Kabrakan and Kakolin coming out as those 2 tanks. And last pick for the Hairnets going to be Kali, which is, man, you are on the other side of the spectrum from the Thanatos. So,
I mean, still feast or famine. Still feast or famine. Yeah. So at least there's that. But, like, this is going to be interesting. Kali, in a lot of ways, is easier to punish than Thanatos because if you when you force out the ultimate that she's gonna die once that comes down. I'm curious to see how this goes. I think the question mark here is how can they play in the mid 2v2s, 3v3s? Because I look at DaddyDayCare and I see a Kabrakan, Scylla, Thor, and that's a lot of CC and that's a lot of setup for I'm a monster. And it's hard to return that type of damage, especially with the Kali and Morgan. I mean, yes, they do good damage, but they have to get in there. Morgan she's not an artillery mage. She does have to play back. I kind of wonder if the Agni would have been a better pickup if it was a discussion at any point. But I'm a little bit concerned here when I look at the Hanford Hairnets draft. I think there's just a lot of positives for DaddyDayCare as far as setup and damage across the board.
Yeah, I mean, last time around in game number 1, about 90% of the fighting that happened before we broke out into full-on team fights, all of the fighting was happening in mid. We had 2v2, we had 3v2s, we had 3v3s. Skirmishes in the mid lane, it was really where it was at. And it didn't favor anybody hugely. I mean, we saw both teams come out with some successes there. This time around, I'm on the same page. I mean, I think you get a lot more favorability out of that 3v3 on the left-hand side. A lot of setup for the Scylla, a lot of range, right? Some good poke is able to come out there consistently. And then I'm looking at these lanes that were left alone in the last game. And the solo lane, I'm not too worried about. That's just going to be a slapbox fest, right? King Arthur versus Colin. I doubt we're going to see any solo kills there. But I would almost say that Cupid once again has a lot of pressure potential over here in this lane. Like Danza Burrow has his own 1v1 potential. He's got some kill potential of his own right, but he's no Kernos. You're not getting the same level of shove it down the lane as you did last game from Killjoy. So I mean, this shores up a lot of the problems we were seeing in the first 15 minutes from the Blue Squad last game.
Yeah, this definitely looks like not only a better draft from them, an easier draft to execute than the previous game. Agreed. And we'll have to see how it plays out here heading into game number 2. But I think we can both agree we're favoring this draft by DaddyDayCare a good bit here.
Yeah, I mean, we favored it last game though, right? I mean, we favored the blue side Yeah. Last game going in heavily. At least I did, right? They had no real solid CC to the CC chain was a little bit lacking on the Hanford Hairnets, but I think part of the reason that you let the game get away from you in game number 1, if you're DaddyDayCare, a lot of it rounds out to these individual performances. You let skills get a little bit out of control. You let Killjoy get a little bit out of control, and suddenly these players start showing up to team fights. I mean, it was even DaddyDayCare who stole the Fire Giant. They were on a mid siege, and it's skills who it's a 3-man hovering death. Like, you can't draft against that.
No, you can't. There's nothing you can do about it.
I mean, that's just if that's the thing that's turning the game on its head, is skills hitting 3-man, 4-man hovering deaths to turn it around while you have the Fire Giant. Like, it just has to be execution. So I'm a fan of them going for the easier to execute draft strategy on this, and I'm especially a fan of the amount of the amount of setup that they've provided this Scylla. I mean, I think that there's a lot of potential for Real Techie to be a star in these late game team fights.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of weight on the Scylla pick in the sense of, like, they've drafted a good bit of setup, so they need it to pop off. But, like, it's going to be easy to hit the stuff with as much setup they have. They have so much beads burn between the Thor wall, the Thor dunk, the Kabrakan wall, the Kabrakan, stunt. You have the Fields of Law. I mean, everything about their comp screams, we're going to burn your beads, we're going to burn your actives, and our Scylla's going to come through and go beep, bop, boop, and you're on the gray screen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look out for both sides here, but loading in, taking a look at these builds right off the bat. Similar builds for these solo laners, similar for the junglers, the mid laners. In fact, everybody going for the same starter item and same first item out the gate. Everybody but those solo laners. Looks like Colin opting to go towards a little bit more of that defense early on in that lane and add to the sustain that he does not have innately in his kit with that sovereignty, most likely. But I think, interestingly enough, you're already seeing this pressure come out in the duo side, right? I think Jazonk and Rachel likely to win wave pressure once again, but I'm wondering if we're going to see as slow of a first 5 minutes or so as
no, we're not.
Nope, we're not. We're going to see. You know what? Back it up a little bit.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was gonna say. I think we need.
Maybe
to
maybe back it up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we need to see what happens here. That was quick.
Fuzzy coming into lane, you got to think you've got the advantage, right? You've got a little bit more damage. You've got 2 abilities here. But Munching Boo, he's getting ready to transform Fuzzy with no respect on the transform at all. In fact, he's walking right up into it and is just absorbing these autos and all of the minion wave aggro. My man Fuzzy with the rookie mistake. You gotta respect the rage transformation and skills. Might make the same mistake here if he's not careful. Does have that stun, though, to get him at a dodge. It will be an early first blood, though, for DaddyDayCare.
I mean, that was quick. That was fast. We talked about, it's really going to be a slap fest over in the solo lane. And then, 30 seconds into the game, it's a first blood over there between the 2 solos. And what's crazy is Munching Boo missed the root.
Yeah.
It was strictly just the tick damage and just being able to stand there and make it happen. As a taunt comes through onto Rachel, or Rachel could be a little bit in trouble. The heart bomb ends up saving the life. Nice little play there by Jazz.
Yeah, I mean, you get that damage traded back and forth, and now I'm wondering if that solo kill opens up the window of the right-hand side, as that's maybe where you want to put a little bit more pressure. In fact, still, he's getting poked out here. These cooldowns going to come up in just a couple of seconds here for Munching Boo, so Fuzzy sticks around a little bit too long. That push, the cripple was perfect there. You could see him lining up for the dash there, but the cripple coming out from King Arthur prevents maybe the second solo kill, dancing on a knife's edge here. But look at Thor on this side of the map. I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about. Directly heading, probably looking for a blue invade, and I think they've got the advantage.
Yeah, Fuzzy, I don't think can step up to this. If Fuzzy comes over, which he is, this could spell immediate doom. He ends up trying to walk away. The wall's good. The damage is better. The double tap didn't fully get to come through. But I think the blue still should go in favor of DaddyDayCare here.
They're at least gonna look for the steal. They will not take it away, but they may take away
anyway.
Fuzzy's life. Oh my goodness, he's low to start the engagement. He comes in once, he gets away just barely, and decides to come in again. And it's the same thing that led to the first solo kill. He has to give a little bit more respect to this damage on the enemy side. That's the second time that he's fallen for really no reason at all.
And what's concerning is Thor's not level 5 yet. But at level 5, this could be worse. Is Munching Boo gonna fall here? Munching Boo! Oh no!
Oh my gosh, now it's Munching Boo that overstays and allows Fuzzy a route back into this game by picking up that kill. Luckily, he did not have that third kill on the board just yet, so it was not a shutdown bonus for Fuzzy. But interestingly here, Munching Boo's got the teleport, so he's still going to be a wave up here in XP versus Fuzzy, who already utilized the teleport. And he was able to finish his sovereignty in full. Fuzzy's still holding on to get that tier 3 item, the Glad Shield first, right? So Munching Boo's still going to be able to hold on to that, and you give a kill over to the jungler. A lot of early action over in the solo lane.
Well, not just that. You know, your jungler held blue buff for you. And yeah, I know there's a fight going on, but we have to talk about this real quick. Speed buff is here. And I think as soon as this comes up, I think this is a gank to mid afterwards. For some reason, I was thinking about last game where this blue buff got stolen, but I just wanted to make sure we talked about it. The blue buff was secured this time, you know? Got to make sure that the blue buff gets taken for our own team.
Yep, got there, was able to share the XP successfully, and now it is Munching Boo decisively commanding this solo lane. Has Fuzzy pushed under tower, stealing a little bit of this farm over on the XP camps, but Thor not in a position really to go for this blue invade, but it looks like he will be able to get there with the ultimate if he needs to, but no contest put up from the Hanford Hairnets. They're just going to let this go by the wayside, and Fuzzy actually, I'm not sure if he realizes Magnetic is here. He might get caught off by the wall, still waiting on it. The double tap off the mark, though, as they will not be able to take down the solo laner here. Just good for a blue buff.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised of where Magnetic was there. It's really sneaky, but I wonder if you're a little bit closer to Munching Boo there and you get the wall off, do you secure the kill over getting to let Fuzzy back to base?
Right. Yeah, I mean, he could have used the wall to sort of block him off as well. So he wasn't able to walk back in the lane. There were a couple different options there, but ultimately it will be the pressure on the solo side. And you know, because of that, there hasn't been any jungle pressure over on this left-hand side. And I think maybe now that these members have hit level 5, that's leading towards the red squad having a slight advantage over here. Is it looks like Ray Shadow, or Ray Chill rather, will be rotating out as of right now. He slightly went back to base right there, but likely to see the supports leave here, either this wave or the next one. And we know what happened when these ADCs were left alone for the longest time in the last game. So maybe it's, you know, it's time to try and you know, lean into that. If your skills, maybe let blue buff be taken, let the pressure come over to Fuzzy and try and really force this lead through Killjoy.
And not only that, I mean, the mid laners have been allowed to farm too, like with no repercussions of any of their positioning or anything like that, because the supports haven't been here, the jungles haven't been here. It's just been a 1v1 fight, and Real Techie does have like maybe a quarter to half a level lead here, almost able to fully clear wave with Crush at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and no surprise there, right? Spooky left alone naturally will fall behind 10 times out of 10.
So good route.
Great, great route there from Real Techie to stay alive, and that's a good sign, I think, for the Scylla, for the ability of him to play this god, right? But still more action over in the solo lane. Munching Boo taken up into the big ultimate, but this Thor dunk comes down on both and takes down Fuzzy Wuzzy. But look at the solo lane rotations he's getting, right? Ray Chill with the blink in will lock down Spooky for just a second here, but the ultimate flies through 3 members, and a huge tectonic shift locks them into their own prison, and the fear comes through as well. Real Techie rotates over late, but is still able to take down 1, take down 2, and the Imo Monster comes through to steal the blue buff as well, I'm sure. Fuzzy Wuzzy will not be able to partake in that one, and it'll be a successful set of trades for DaddyDayCare.
Yeah, DaddyDayCare really just putting a ton of pressure on this solo lane. They decide that this is the win con for the early game, and to let their carry deal with this, with Killjoy by himself. They're like, Jazz, sorry, you're on your own, bud. We're going to get Munching Boo ahead as possible so he can rotate in. I think this is the play. I think this is the way to play this game. Your solo's ahead. You're forcing the mid laners to rotate. You're forcing the jungles to play over here. You're dictating where the enemy team plays and the pacing of the entire game. Because they know if they let this lane go, this opens up the neutral objectives to them. So right now, DaddyDayCare really just executing very, very well here, as Killjoy could be in trouble with Rachel walking up. But instead, Rachel just says, it's okay. You can have that. I'm going to walk away now.
Yeah, interestingly enough, in the drafts, right, you lost a little bit of this shred from Hanford Hairnets. They no longer have the double ADC composition, although they do have an auto attacker in the jungler, right? So they're still able to get some damage out onto these objectives faster than maybe the enemy team, but they still are lacking, despite going a traditional mage, no huge mage secure ability. Certainly nothing compared to the Crush I'm a Monster combo coming out of Real Techie, right? So these objectives, you still have to respect the ability of Shred, and on the other side, you have to respect the steal potential that came out just last game. You lost a Fire Giant to the Blue Squad, right? So the fact that these objectives have not been looked at just yet is not a surprise to me. Both teams have to be hesitant to pick these up and are looking for the perfect opportunity to do so.
Well, and I kind of like the objective secure of Scylla over anybody else. So, yeah. I mean, obviously you could argue Dharmic Pillars, if you get it positioned correctly, does a lot. But I really like the I'm a Monster secure here, and that could end up deleting somebody off the map, as Killjoy is under a lot of pressure here. Oh, they do let him ult out.
Comes through, though, and he finds the perfect direction to get him to safety, despite the gank coming through from Rachel. Will not be able to take out the ADC, but hold that thought though. Okay. Magnetic is not going to rush towards that, but they will rush towards SpookyMars. The I'm a Monster is up and looking to find the damage, and will find the damage, but the healing coming through on the ultimate will keep him alive just a bit longer. Not long enough though, and Magnetic will take down the mid laner for the red squad.
And this is what we've seen with this Thor pick. I mean, not just here, for instance, but just across the board. Thor becomes an absolute menace with this semi-global ultimate and with the lead. I mean, you're talking about the wall now does damage, it procs item effects. Thor is just an absolute menace when he gets online. I know you can say that about any god in the game, but when you have a semi-global ultimate, you can contest from mid lane to the Pyro to the Gold Fury. It's going to open up a lot for you. If you can dunk on somebody that doesn't suspect it, or they think they're out and they're lazy backing, it changes the pace of the game. And again, DaddyDayCare really dictating the pace right now with about a 2,000 gold lead here at 10 minutes. Not insurmountable, but has to feel really good after for game one win.
Yeah, I mean, definitely feeling much better starting off this second game. They're already off to a kill lead as well. And this pressure has been, mitigated. In fact, it's just Zonk a level down, looking to take this 1v1 over on the left-hand side. And that's because he's got the backup Magnetic Excalibur coming in over the wall and will help out the ADC. That's Killjoy's first death in either of these games, and it's a good place to put it.
Yeah, I mean, this is what DaddyDayCare needed to do. They got that early lead in solo. They allowed to put a ton of pressure there. Now they can go over to the duo side and do some work. And that's going to feel pretty good here. I mean, we have Soul Gem picked up here by Scylla. There's the I'm the Monster to not only get out, but concerns, get some extra damage off. No, puts it on to Skills, and Skills half health there. I don't know they can walk up to this. Either team, really, this is a 50-50 coin flip. It's not what you want to do. And Skills is in trouble now. This is going to be bad for DaddyDayCare.
A little bit of poke there on that hammer toss there for Magnetic will force out the jungler at the very least, but they're looking for even more blink from the support. Dash in from Real Techie as well, and SpookyMars will be forced under that tier 1 tower as this Trebuchet pushes down mid lane, but not a good spot to do it, and will just get taken down from the Hairnets, right? So you're not getting any huge benefit off that positioning. At the very least, you were able to force Stam Monster earlier than Real Techie wanted. So I think because of that, you don't feel nearly as good pulling the Gold Fury, so you're able to slow that down, which is good if you're the Hairnets, right? You're at least able to take a breath, Get a second to get everybody back on the map. Get a second to get some of these critical items online, coming into this second item, finishing, getting ready to build that third item, right? And getting these items fully stacked, right? Because you already have Book of Thoth stacked for still on DaddyDayCare. And, you know, they've been quietly a lot less farming, or a lot less fighting, rather, in mid, and that's hugely benefited. Real Techie's found a 2-level lead and has found his way stacked already. And you can see, instead of last game where he went the slower Charon's coin, wanting to stack that one up, he's already into the Soul Gem, wanting to do this early game damage, and sure enough, they're right back on the Gold Fury.
Oh, Killjoy's not letting this happen. There's no way. There's the Dharmic Pillars coming through to try to get some damage off. There's the Dons and Burrow looking for more. It goes on to Real Techie. Gonna feel pretty good.
Yeah, they're onto it, and it will be the last ability there. But Killjoy's looking to be traded out by Magnetic there, and it will be SpookyMars not allowing that to happen. As the Leaf has come out, and he's barely survived. Look at him, he's all the way in the back line, and he's able to survive, and it's 3 that fall instead for DaddyDayCare. What a collapse around the Gold Fury.
And almost lost one over in solo, too. A 4-0 Gold Fury would have been absolutely insane. After how DaddyDaycare's really just put the pressure on this map, this let Hanford Hairnets back in. This is the one thing you have to be careful about with this Dons and Burrow. I mean, we did it last night. Oh my god, he turns it around because Fuzzy jumps into the tower. Oh no. Fuzzy looking for that kill and ends up falling there.
Bad. Yeah, that is a feels bad moment there for Fuzzy, especially after the early stages. But Jazonk under the same level of pressure over here on this left-hand side. Killjoy thought he might have been able to get that one by himself, but its skills instead needed to finish it off. And they will turn around and take down the ADC. And in just a couple of minutes here, I mean, maybe a minute, maybe 60 seconds. You've turned around the gold lead entirely. It's been cut down from 3,000 to nothing. These experience leads have been cut down as well. Killjoy has found his way to a lead. You're still, struggling over in these side lanes a little bit. Now Skills has found his way into a lead as well. 2 levels over in the support role, right? So you're getting these characters able to at least fight back, getting the XP more even. And all off 60 seconds of play. I mean, it's crazy how these games teeter on a knife's edge.
Yeah, I mean, just crazy good plays there by Hanford Hairnets. I mean, imagine the comms are just absolutely insane. I would love to hear comms sometimes when we cast these sets. As Rachel goes in just for the blue buff invade, nothing's going to come of it. But really just great play and comms around that. You do have to worry about the Dons and Burrow. When you're going to pull an objective, that rocket in not only does damage, not only stuns, but gives a way in, not just for Killjoy, but the rest of the team. It is an ability that allows the ADC to dive and not eat a lot of poke until the rocket connects. I was gonna say, we saw that last night when I was playing Dons and Burrow, and as Spooky is just gonna fall here to Magnetic Excalibur again. It goes up, and Skills is gonna get dropped on, but off the mark, Skills could get out and has to use the immortality there to get out. Camazotz comes through with the Dharmic Pillars, and now Skills gets away, but this could spell bad for Camazotz. No, Fuzzy Wuzzy comes in and puts Ray Chill up in the air.
A couple of rotations do save the life of the jungler there, but some huge damage getting traded on the tanks, and the mid laner will still fall into the grave. SpookyMars takes his 3rd spill of the game, still 2 levels down here in this mid lane, right? And that does open up a window, at least for this second objective. This Pyromancer likely to be taken off the board unless Camazotz was taken, can make a play with this first ability. No Dharmic Pillars available. This Pyromancer coming down low. We'll stick around just to see if he has the steal potential, but with the crush there, I doubt he'll be able to look at that. So at least DaddyDayCare able to battle back with their own objective and retake the gold lead, even if it's small.
Killjoy using that ult to dive under the tower here. Oh, and my favorite thing to happen as ADC is being in a fight and then going to take the tower down. The tower targets you because it's been within that like 2 seconds. But look at this. Magnetic is here. Jazz is here. Real Techie and Rachel are here. Killjoy, I don't know if you realized how much trouble he's in when he stopped the back. Is able to get away for a short time, but he's going to get put down here. There's no way he gets out of this.
No, he's...
Oh my god.
Everybody is turning on Killjoy. 4 people. But those 4 people, same on the right-hand side, are all on to Munching Boo. There's a 3-man rotation, but he survives.
Yeah, I mean,
get that matched gank. So, I mean, the reason that Jazonk, or rather Killjoy, doesn't get any help is because his teammates are going for something else and they fail to get that something. That's not a great look.
Well, in game number 1, we saw Killjoy, get out of that just almost impossible situation against DaddyDayCare. And they're like, look, game number 1, he was able to wiggle his way out. We're not going to let that happen during game 2. And they use the resources that need to be done to get this ADC off the map. They realized Killjoy was a problem around this point in game number 1 with the lead. He has it now. And they're like, hey, he might have the lead. We're going to gank him. We're going to work on getting this Cupid back into the game. But the problem I think is going to be for them here is Cupid going for that auto attack build is going to be feeling very, very good. But Donza with crit, could be a problem. Could be a problem. As we do see, again, another big fight breaking off over in the solo lane, which has just been the point of contention the whole entire game. I feel like we caster cursed this at the beginning during the draft.
At the very beginning, absolutely. Yeah. That's the reason. But we do get the rotation over here, 4 members, and it will be trapped in a great tectonic shift. Locks down Fuzzy Wuzzy and leads to the mid laner, picking up one more Real Techie on the board for his 3rd kill of this one. Add that to the fact that you're able to get out your jungler, Magnetic able to survive, I think, sub 25% HP right there. So a successful little skirmish there for DaddyDayCare on the solo side. But I mean, these little skirmishes really not going to lead anywhere. I mean, we're going to stay even here. You can go 2 for 2, you can go 3 for 3. Everybody's going to stay at an even gold lead. The biggest question on the map is now this Primal Fury that's respawned just a couple of seconds ago. And it seems like DaddyDayCare feel like they maybe could have had a pull opportunity there, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they were the
really
only ones there on the left side. But
I guess, Real Techie wants to finish that Soul Reaver, start working on the next item there. It's probably going to be an Ob Shard. But I'm a little bit confused why they didn't go for it. I think they had pretty good positioning and they knew where Killjoy was at. But now it's Hanford Hairnets to decide to pull it, and Munching Boo's there. They know. And Hanford Hairnets are going to pull off of this, which I think is the move, because they do need to be worried about the whole rotation in and just getting dunked on by this Thor. Real Techie is stepping up, getting a good ward here, but it's gonna be a fight over the Gold Fury, and it's gonna be a 5v4 for the time being, as Fuzzy is over in that right-hand side, just trying to get farm to get back to equal footing, and now it's DaddyDayCare pulling the Gold Fury.
Primal Fury will be taken down to 75%, and they do have the secure advantage on the side of DaddyDayCare, but with Ray Chill being taken down as well, it may be a turnaround, and he's using the Time Monster aggressively. It gets popped early, and there's no setup for it, but SpookyMars gets taken down to half HP, and the dunk is off the mark, but all 4 members of the blue squad are in onto the enemy mid laner, and he will be taken down, but look for trades to come through. His skills has popped that ultimate, and he's ready to deal the damage, but Real Techie surviving almost on his own in the backline, helping out. His jungler will take down 2. Killjoy able to trade one back, and he's the only member surviving, but he has the most health out of all 4 members here, and was just waiting on a couple of cooldowns, running the wrong direction, but he may be waiting for this advantage. No ultimate available, no cooldowns available, just needs some of these crit to pop off, and he's been able to avoid so much of the how does he do this?
What is going on?
Alive for 40 full seconds alone on this side of perfect Aegis, and he's still alive, just barely gets taken down by Munching Boo, but that has allowed the rest of his team enough time where they are going to spawn up, and this Gold Fury cannot be taken. What an amazing display of footwork from Killjoy.
Yeah, I want to know where he got boots are still in the game just for him, for that extra movement speed. I mean, like, insane that just gets to live there. Dodging and weaving, juking and bobbing. I don't know, dude. Just absolutely insane play there. Just stalls out the Gold Fury and allows his team to get back on the map and not lose that neutral objective. Has to be feeling pretty good. And the game is dead even. We're talking about like maybe a 50 gold difference between the two teams. And the one thing I'm concerned about is earlier, and I'm glad to see DaddyDayCare being a bit smarter about this time, where they are willing to trade, go get Pyro and trade gold. They're not doing it this time around. It's a huge fight bust out. There's the monster coming through. The Fields of Love as well. Here comes the dunk onto Spooky. Spooky taking off the map. Skills is low too. He will be looked at here as he blinks away, and Fuzzy in mid is zoning off the carries.
Yeah, Magnetic takes down the first, and he's looking for the second in the form of the jungler here. Will not be able to get it unless he dives the tower, but all the while, it's just the blue team continuing to find wins across the board. They take down 3, and it's just Killjoy looking to answer back almost on his own. As he takes down 1, he takes down 2, and it's Munching Boo in to try and set up for Magnetic. Look at him coming around the back. All the cooldowns available, and the silence is going to prevent the cooldown. Good peel coming through, but it's not enough to save the ADC, as Munching Boo doesn't need the help to come through. They're looking to secure the DS side, and a couple more hits will do it. All 5 fall for the Hanford Hairnets, and they're on their way to the objective.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get the tier 1 here in mid, and I think they just take their pick. They should go Pyro here without a carry up. I think it's just easier for them to take down. And honestly, we have to talk about the fact the Kuka lane pick here into this Dons and Burrow just feels so good because it just cancels out the leave form. That rage literally is what got Killjoy killed there, is the rage just ticking damage onto him to pull him out of the leaf. And this is a Pyromancer falling in favor of DaddyDayCare. So now we went from, what, 50 gold difference to now almost 2,500 in favor of DaddyDayCare. Just an absolute bloodbath in the mid lane. It is 21 to 10 kills, but man, it feels like we've been fighting most of the game. And looking at builds, Deathbringer's online now for Killjoy.
Yeah, there's been a ton of action. And I think, honestly, the biggest difference maker has been this mid difference, right?
Yes.
I mean, you get 428 level 20 Scylla already in the books with the Ob Shard, with the Soul Reaver online. You're dealing that damage, and on the other side, SpookyMars, he's not even halfway stacked on that Charon's coin. He's not even halfway to the amount of pen, to the benefits that he can be getting from that item, because he always dies first. He's not around to help out in these fights. And granted, a good amount of it is focus by DaddyDayCare. It's an appropriate target identification coming through from the jungler. You're taking down the weakest member first, but at the same time, there cannot be this easy of a separation that you're finding from DaddyDayCare. That there has to be something punished. Like if they all drop on Spooky, maybe if they all drop on Fuzzy, he's left alone. There's no trade able to happen. Nobody is even in the vicinity, and that's going to open up yet another opportunity for DaddyDayCare.
Yeah, they're going to have to come fight over this Fire Giant. I don't think they can let it go for free. We do see Skills and Camazotz was taking pathing over here. And what I was going to say is, like, the reason they're taking out Spooky is not just because of the level diff. It's because of the fact of what that Morgan ultimate can do in a fight. I mean, it absolutely swings, and it can hit multiple targets at a time. But what's crazy here is DaddyDayCare is stalling, trying to get this Fire Giant, trying to get this extra fight so they can get another pick, which they do. Spooky falls again. But Killjoy's on the left hand of the map, split pushing. They're going to have to respond to this Dons and Burrow, but instead they're chasing down Camazotz was taken, looking to try to kill this Ganesha that might end up getting out anyway. I think it will get picked up here. The Dharmic Pillars is good, but is it good enough to slow and live? And it looks like it is, as Camazotz was taken. Oh no, the blink comes through a Munching Boo. Oh, this is insane. Munching Boo gets put down. But on the left-hand side, Donza, I mean, you know, Killjoy did push down to this Phoenix. They did have to respond. And they're going to have to respond to mid, too.
Yeah, so they do get a tier 1 and a tier 2 tower, right? At the very least. And they're able to take down another tier 1 in mid at the same time. But that focus means that you're not there for your teammates. You lose a pick on Fuzzy. You lose a pick on your mid laner as well. And you lose the Fire Giant.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we saw this team able to fight back into a Fire Giant very notably in game number 1. They didn't really have a problem dealing with this unenhanced Fire Giant. And certainly I don't think the gold lead is anything to write home about. Nobody's up 10K. Nobody's even up 5K, right? We're barely above 3K here at the 26-minute mark. So, you know, it's not the end of the game by any means. You're definitely able to fight back into this. The biggest question is where you're going to be able to make use of your heavy hitters here, right? Because maybe you're even using Spooky as bait at this point, and you're like setting up for Killjoy to do the damage, because you need to get Killjoy into do the damage. You need to get Skills in there into the back line to do the damage, and you've got a 1 in 8 character, you've got a 1 in 6 character, right? I mean, you have some major strengths in your roster, and you have some players that just haven't been able to make the impact in these team fights, and you really have to try and develop a strategy around a team fight style that can push these players that are able to make the impact up and force them almost into the spotlight, force them into the spotlight where they can make plays, they can try and save the game.
Yeah, one thing I want to talk about is Magnetic Exhibition gets deleted, but they bought that Magi's Revenge, which thought was going to be huge in a team fight, but then just gets deleted before that could ever happen. I was interested to see how that item's going to work with the dive in. But this Kukulane, you have the mana cores, you have the Amulet of Stronghold just doing a lot of work here. Oh, there's the sprint, but it doesn't land the root, but Fuzzy gets hit anyway by a different root. And this is an interesting position here by Hanford Hairnets. So looking to cut this off. It's a 5v4, but can they take it is the question.
They're going to go for it. Fuzzy on the backline, already low to start the fight. And Jazonk separates it extremely well with the Field of Love, right?
Ooh.
Real Techie gets collapsed on the backline and is miraculously able to survive and trade out almost for skills, but his teammate helps out and does it for him as Fuzzy is also struggling to survive here, just under 10% HP, and Ray Chill will be taken out at the end of the fight as well. But the two carries are able to survive. You still get Real Tech, you still get Munching Boo alive here for the blue squad, able to hold on to that Fire Giant. I mean, when you think about how that fight should have started, that should have been a deicide, no question, for Hanford Hairnets.
Yeah.
They collapsed. They had the advantage. They had the man advantage. Like, the fact that DaddyDayCare is able to hold on to any Fire Giant buffs there is huge.
And I was going to say that can we talk about the peel by Killjoy there with the taunt? The sake bottle, throwing it over, saves the life of Fuzzy there, taunts the Rachel and Munching Boo back in just to get that extra damage and make sure that no one on the side of Hanford Hairnets besides Skills falls. I mean, that's just a huge play there. I think it slowed down a little bit of what they wanted to do, and they're not going to get another tower or any objective off the map. But I agree. The fact that that's not just a clean deicide when it's a 5v4 is a little bit concerning.
Yeah, I mean, miraculously, you're able to hold on to some Fire Giant buffs, but at this point in the push, like, you're probably not trying to make a push anytime soon, right? There's no time to regroup and push down a lane, especially when it's just tier 2s on the map. But dangerously about that decision, right? You're not able to make use of this first Fire Giant. The next one is EFG. So all the mistakes that you make on this one, if there's a steal, if you lose a fighter on this one, I mean, this has a lot more potential to be the game deciding Fire Giant than last time. We had 2 regular Fire Giants before the enhanced one. This time it's been a slow enough game, at least outside of objectives. I don't want to say slow because obviously we have a huge number of kills up there on the board, but they've just not really been forcing fights around these objectives and instead just been looking for these skirmishes. And look at this, how this ambush is set up, right? They're looking for this tier 2 tower. Now finally all 5 members on the map for
Killjoy.
the blue squad. They're waiting to set up this fight. Killjoy taken down very low to start things off. I'm a monster, already getting channeled, not able to pick up a kill, but Thor in the air looking for the dunk and does find it onto Killjoy. ADC taken down, and Fuzzy is the next target. But look at Skills in the backline fighting the ADC by himself, and Fuzzy will help take down ADC for ADC. It will be Magnetic with the double kill though, and Skills still holding on to that ultimate, waiting to find the turnaround, but it's Real Techie that finds the turnaround first. Skills has to go big, and he does take down the jungler, but that's not the target. He does not get the reset on health, and Munching Boo is able to take down the opposing jungler, and it's only Kamazatz was taken left on the map, and nobody cares. Nobody cares about the support being left alive, and it'll instead be the push down for the blue squad.
Yeah, they're gonna look for this Phoenix here. They need to get this off the map, or at least get a tower out of this. They got 4. Obviously they'd love to get a 5th and get the deicide here, which they might get anyway, as Kamazat's taken does get half health there in like the matter of 5 seconds. And it's gonna be a slow burn here. They don't have the ADC, but that was just perfectly executed there by DaddyDayCare. Killjoy walked up into a Scylla root, which kind of set up.
Get it.
Oh no.
No, they don't get anything. They spend so much time fighting and they get a win. Absolutely, nobody's questioning that. They get the win in the fight, but now, almost because they've gone for the Phoenix, they are now late to this Fire Giant. They could have backed. They could have backed and reset the health and been on time to this, but now they're going to be the ones late despite winning the fight.
Yeah, this is concerning for DaddyDayCare. I mean, you're talking about 5 members running it down towards Fire Giant of Hanford Hairnets. And the thing you have going for you is Magnetic Excalibur is with this ultimate and this Magi's Revenge. Jazz is now here too. Great wall comes out by the Thor.
Oh my gosh.
But, I mean, 5v4 here for a little bit. This could be concerning.
Yeah, definitely holding on at least until the rest of your team gets back here, and all of a sudden it is the 5v5 towards this Fire Giant pit. Nobody wants to be the one that makes the mistake that leads to the enhanced Fire Giant for the other team. Some Magi's bubbles on both sides, right? That's going to enable Rachel and Magnetic to be a little bit more aggressive. Same with Skills, holding on to that CC immunity, right? So the ability to dive is there for both squads, but it does get burned off of Skills. So he now is lacking that Magi's bubble. Going to be a little bit harder for him to find his way in. The Magi's Revenge doesn't get any benefit as well out of that passive, and sure enough, that's the window. Rachel finds the blink in tectonic shift and up into the air, looking on the dunk and finds 3. Magnetic looking to finish off some kills, but good healing for each other. The carries come together to take down the jungler, and it's 1 more on the other side as well, as Skills finds 2, and SpookyMars not able to stay alive, but Skills finds 3 in the dive and is looking for the 4th. Killjoy helps him out, and it's a full deicide for the Hanford Hairnet.
What a crazy turnaround for Hanford Hairnets there. The counter engage was absolutely perfect. They kept Spooky alive off the dive there. He ended up falling later, but that's okay. Like, you kept him alive long enough to get the damage off, and Spooky just absolutely gets a good amount of damage off. They get the ultimates that they wanted. They finally get this deicide, and this is, again, brings the game almost back to even, but not just that. This opens up Enhanced Fire for free. And yeah, I don't know what you say here. Killjoy now has the domination online. That's going to feel pretty good getting that extra pin going with this build. I mean, this is a scary time. You talked about Skills basically willing them to victory game number 1.
They get to wait.
Oh, my God. They get to wait.
Oh, man.
Okay, that was disrespectful to Spooky. That was disrespectful to Spooky.
Smart decision, right? Spooky's not worth the risk. Not worth the risk.
It's not. I mean, you do have to worry about that Thor dunk coming through, obviously, but just unfortunate that Spooky gets gypped Fire Giant by about 5 seconds.
Yeah, no, I mean, unfortunate there, but it's very fortunate perhaps for the Hanford Hairnets that despite being down in gold for the last couple of minutes, being down in kills still at this point in the game, they're the ones with the enhanced Fire Giant. They are the ones with their hands on the reins of this game, right? And now with 2, almost all tier 2 towers down on certainly on the side of DaddyDayCare, still some lift up for the Hairnets, but it's DaddyDayCare looking to defend. If anything, though, they have a better defense than they did in game 1, and
they do.
It's still got to be played well. This is not a free siege by any means. Still even in the gold lead, still even in the XP, almost across the board. Everybody is either on or nearing that 6th item. So, I mean, but everything, if you exclude the enhanced Fire Giant, the game's perfectly even.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, like, who cares about the kills at this point? They're all level 20. They are practically even in gold. They're all, like, almost full build. I mean, we're talking about Rachel's the only one missing a 6th item. You have almost fully upgraded relics. This comes down to straight mechanics at this point. And can you defend against the enhanced Fire Giant? Can you get the pick that's going to open up the game for you? They are going for a 4-1 split here. 4 on the left, 1 in the mid. We can see how this plays out. Skills is not going to be able to get there. And the problem for them could be that this Thor can make the rotation in with just a simple ultimate.
Skills does have his Magi's burned away at the very least, but it will just be a posturing to start this one off. The ultimate's already traded in, though, and I'm a Monster gets forced out early. Fuzzy taken down low, and the Phoenix gets dropped before it can hit the last bit of damage, and
Thor's
Fuzzy
up.
survives for it, but look for the dunk. It's not in range of anybody except for the support, but the dash just barely gets him out alive, and the Hanford Hairnets get away with murder. Nobody falls on either side. The Phoenix goes down, and it's just a free objective.
Oh, no, they did stop Skills back. Oh, my goodness. It had to have been less than like a quarter of a second from actually going off. And this could mark the death of Skills. No, they're not going to be able to catch him. Oh, my goodness. That was almost catastrophic for Hanford Hairnets after getting an amazing left side Phoenix here. That is, I mean, I don't know how they got it. I honestly don't. Just an insane play there by them. And now they're going to group. And the question is, are they going to go for mid or are they going to go for right? I don't really know which is going to be better for them in this case. Probably mid if they can help it, but it's further away from the Fire Giant. But we'll kind of see what they decide to do here. Just a great engage with the Dharmic Pillars plus Fuzzy just opens it up. And the fact that Fuzzy gets out as the Phoenix doesn't get to fire that last shot is incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you almost call it lucky, but like that was the whole point. Killjoy focused the Phoenix from step one. I mean, that was his entire job, pushing down here. Now they're looking again here in the mid lane. Good poke to start off. Killjoy dropped down to 75% HP, but it will still be all ultimates available. Everybody has those cooldowns back up, saved from the first Phoenix siege, and still have a couple seconds here on this Fire Giant, but it's very close to falling off. I mean, they kind of have to go here or wait for I think if they wait for the next wave, I'm not sure if they have the time, but they do have the minion wave pushing down on the left hand side. Looks like they will back off as this Fire Giant falls off. I think that's probably a smart play. Just set up play for the next enhanced Fire Giant. But I mean, as long as you're able to push up these minions and force the fight, it's still a pretty even game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to worry about the left-hand side. Obviously, clear that out as fast as you can, and then be able to contest the next Fire Giant. This game is still, like, it could go either way. Yes, there's a 4,000 gold lead in favor of Hanford Hairnets, but at this point in the game, that doesn't really mean a lot, as Fuzzy teleports in right into DaddyDayCare.
And he takes a lot of his health bar for it. Now he doesn't have that teleport to reset and come back, right?
Not only that, yeah.
And on the other side, you get this free push and you have the teleport available for munching boost. You're going to get these couple of waves cleared out. You don't have to worry about these continuously pushing down or putting a member over there that's not going to be able to join the fight, because he's got that teleport to join the fight whenever the fight gets going. Although a little bit surprising to me that Real Techie backs right as the Fire Giant is spawning, but I doubt that they know that they're a member up over here on this right
Fuzzy's
side.
backing now, though. Okay, now Fuzzy stops the back. They do have a trap pushing mid that could open up something for them. But, I mean, it's going to be 5v5 here.
You know, looks like the Fire Giant is started up. Real Techie's back in time for this, as Rachel will have the Magi's burned off him at the very least. But look at the flank here. Fuzzy does choose to go in, and Munching Boo gets stunned right as he enters, and Real Techie is not able to get his damage offline. But look at the dunk, comes through 3 beads. But the tectonic shift traps him in, and they'll trade at least 1-for-1. Munching Boo, though, is zoning off 4 members, and this is what he was built for. He keeps all 4 members of the Hairnets in towards the fight, towards the Fire Giant, and allows his team. A great wall will shut down the support on the red side and force every other member back, and it's opened up a window for DaddyDayCare to look at the Fire Giant themselves.
They can't do it. They're worried about Killjoy's ult, and they have the left side bird getting pushed down here. They have the Treb in mid. They can't do Fire Giant. This is a great play by Hanford Hairnets just to make sure it stays contested, and it keeps them from getting enhanced fire, which obviously would swing the game hugely in their favor. And DaddyDayCare just have to walk away after an incredible fight, and the Magi's gets burned here off of the Thor. I mean, you're talking, this isn't good. I don't know what you can do here. You're going to stay because you don't want to let them have this enhanced fire for free, but you're risking your own life as the Thor goes up and gets burned down.
Oh, no. Burned down before he gets a chance to contest. And I don't think anybody's going to get there in time, but Spooky has taken half of his health by stepping over the fire. Whoa,
here we go.
Playing
Jazz is here.
Jazzork has to look for the steal. Does have the ultimate available. Chooses to go on KJ instead and forces them off the Fire Giant. It's still low. They're letting it heal. They don't have back on it. They don't pull it. No shot. Okay, Jazzonk finally hops on the Fire Giant, but neither of his tanks are.
Oh no, Fuzzy just teleported in. What is going on?
You're absolutely right. They see him in the back line. They're trying to this. Oh my gosh, what a mess. What a mess. DaddyDayCare, though, able to force the Hairnets off the Fire Giant and reset with their Phoenix alive. We're back to even.
I mean, you have 5 versus 4 for 19 more seconds, and he doesn't have, he's going to have to use ult if he wants to close the gap. You need to force DaddyDayCare into a bad fight here. You just have to force it. And they're letting them play back. They're cautiously playing this, and I don't think that's the move with how far Thor is away. I think you have to push this fight and force them into something that makes them uncomfortable. But the problem is for Hanford Hairnets is they've been playing better off the back foot and playing this counter engage the past several fights.
No, you've absolutely lost your advantage of the Hairnets. At this point, Thor is going to be a part of any fight you choose to start. If we take stock of what's up, it's only these ADC ultimates that are waiting to come back off cooldown. So you're not going to have the field of love for the next 30 or so seconds. But it will be Fuzzy taking a little bit of poke, Munching Boo as well on the side of some damage. But Thor into the air looking for the dunk. And Fuzzy's gone the wrong way. He's completely separated from the rest of his team.
No.
And he just gets picked off. There's no ultimate, only one ultimate that has to be expended. And now DaddyDayCare are the ones with the pick, and they look ready to push this one down. Spooky gets turned around on. He's the immediate focus, forced to use both relics, but it's not enough. And the mid laner falls 2 down for the Hanford Hairnets, and the other 3 are forced to run away. Skills back to base. Killjoy and Kamazot's in the vicinity, but I'm not sure if they're going to be able to look for this contest.
I mean, I think Skills is going to look for a pick on the carries here. Just really well positioned. If they get the jump, the stun in, it could spell absolute doom. Goes in a little bit early. Dharmic Pillars come through here. Skills is looking for a fight.
Blink in, does pop the ultimate, and Real Techie will be able to stay alive, just barely. Not able to find the kill, though, and Skills gets the double and takes down the support and the mid laner. And Munching Boo is left by his lonesome in the backline as well, but the follow-up there gets the triple kill for Skills, and now it's 3 down for both sides. Make it 4 for the Hairnets, but as Fuzzy's about to respawn, it'll soon be an even 2v2 playing field. And as both these teams find 3 respective kills, neither one is still going to be able to hold this onto this Fire Giant. They're pinging it. They might go for it.
Oh, they're going for it. I don't know that you can get it, but they're going for it. I mean, you know, the Magnetic's not going to let this happen. Like, Magnetic's going to dunk on them. But at the same time, does he know? Yeah,
well,
they have to know. I was saying, they have a ward on it, right? Yeah.
100% he's on a ward. So they get off. That's the smart play. I think
but he's gonna dunk on Skills.
He does dunk on Skills.
Oh, no ult to save
He has no ultimate, so he's not able to survive.
God.
And they get both. Oh my goodness, what a misplay! The 2v2 goes in favor of DaddyDayCare by a huge margin, and that's now 60 seconds almost that they're gonna have to try and make a power play.
I don't know what's going on anymore. It's just like an absolute arena game at the Fire Giant. And no one's winning. I mean, obviously, DaddyDayCare just won the 2v2, but, like, I don't know that guarantees they get this enhanced Fire Giant with how this has been playing out. If Spooky stands in the right position here, which is going to be behind the pit, and throws the ultimate over, there's a possibility for a steal here. And
no
Kamazot's is taking Killjoy on the way. Oh, no.
They've got a sentry ward behind that, so he has a free steal opportunity if he can get vision on it. Right?
This is it.
They're taking all of it. They're looking for it. No! DaddyDayCare secure the Fire Giant, and it's enhanced. So now they have the power play, right? That's exactly what you would have wanted. They back up. They don't get anything after the fact, but now finally...
But they're backing?
Well, I mean, I
don't know. Yeah. I don't think you have to back. I think you have so much pressure there because Fuzzy's still not up. I think you make a play for at least the right-hand tower.
Yeah, I mean, you can min-max a little bit better, but at this point, if you get to the Titan room, those 2 towers are not going to prevent you from killing the Titan.
No, 100%.
There's so much damage on the board right now. I mean, the biggest thing is going to be this left-hand side. Right now, you finally have the ability. This is the first time in 2 games that we've seen DaddyDayCare on the front foot of a siege.
Yeah, I mean, they have to use this. They cannot get picked at this tier 2 again. If anything goes awry in this fight for DaddyDayCare, it's going to spell bad news.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't like Magnetic being over here on the right-hand side. I can tell you that right now. I think you need all 5 on this group siege on left side.
I mean, if I'm DaddyDayCare, though, I do like Skills not being over here.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm a big fan. I'm a fan of not having to fight into Skills, but I doubt that they know that he's not here, but
they do now.
He does get pinged over. I mean, yeah, it's still going to be a split push, right? And you have to remember the global pressure, semi-global pressure here from the Thor. So they do have the ability to go 4-1 split if they want to, but I'm not convinced that it's the right play either. Regardless, I mean, they really only have one shot at this. I don't think they get to go in and go out.
No, I think this is it. Like, if you win this fight, cool, you win game. If you hard lose this fight, it's probably game either which way this goes. And there's the blink in by Ray.
Chill blinks in, finds tectonic shift onto 3, and it's the ultimate from the Soul Laner that drops both of the carries down to half HP, and Munching Boo takes first one off the board. Fuzzy 6 feet under, and Skills is not able to find the engage he wants to. He loses the blink, and he almost loses the life, but he's just barely able to survive while Spooky helps out his team and takes down the enemy mid laner. Meanwhile, though, the Phoenix does fall, as does the opposing mid laner. Both mid laners off the board, and it's still a man advantage in favor of DaddyDayCare, and I think that seals the deal for at least the mid Phoenix here, as they've got the enhanced Fire Giants. These backdoor protections are going to be shredded down easily, right? They don't have any towers in the way, but they're hesitating. They've got a minion wave, maybe. They're waiting for the right opportunity, but Munching Boo really wants to back and make use of this teleport, so they're hesitating maybe more than they should.
I don't know why you just don't take it. I mean, you have Cupid here. There's no backdoor protections on this Phoenix. It's free. I mean, I guess you're worried about Killjoy, and then Skills is still up. I understand, but you take the Phoenix.
No, and now they're in on the fight, though. Killjoy does fall. They take their time. They are patient, and they get rewarded with the ADC. They will get rewarded with the jungler, and they may just get rewarded with the game. This mid Phoenix will fall, but as Fuzzy respawns, SpookyMars is not far behind. It's not a free Phoenix by any means, and this blink in from the Soul Laner will push the ADC off of the tower and push Thor into the air. Dharmic Pillars come down, but Magnetic trades out the Soul Laner, and Kamazot's taken will fall as well. SpookyMars will try desperately to take down the members, but it is not enough, and we are going to a game 3.
What an insane way to end the game. I mean, I really do think they could have taken the Phoenix earlier. Obviously, their patience pays off. They're able to go in a little bit more aggressive onto Killjoy there, which is, I think, why they backed off. They wanted to make sure they could secure that kill and force Skills into a bad position. But what an absolute bloodbath for 49 straight minutes. It was just fighting from second 30 and on. Just insane play. That game could have went either way for pretty much the entirety of it. I don't really... if I'm either of these teams, I don't leave this game feeling necessarily good. I'm glad if I'm DaddyDayCare that I got the win. But what we had to do and how long it took us to get the win, I'm not necessarily happy about.
I am glad that we did not start this set at 9 p.m.
Yeah. No, that was a complete surprise, Spooky. I thought I would be done probably in like the next 45 minutes. So that obviously is probably not the case.
You wanna just get rolling, just get right into game 3?
Yeah. I said let's just hop into game 3 if you're cool with that.
I'm gonna turn on my fan real quick, but
no,
you can just jump in.
All right. Hopping into game number 3. It is now 1-1 in the set here. This one won't be as long. All right. I mean, it's a good set. I don't mind, dude. You know, I like in the grand scheme of things, like this doesn't bother me that much. If I just want to chill with my wife when she gets home. So like but I'm cool either way. Like I enjoy casting Smite. If the games go long, that's fine with me. If I was worried about casting for a long time, I would not agree to cast for a best of 5 tomorrow. You know what I mean? Castings is so much fun. I don't know if we got picks and bans this game. I think the Annis would have been huge in that game. I'm just saying. I think you're right. Giannis would have been huge that game.
Do you see picks and bans?
No, I was gonna say I don't see anything. Do you just want to hop in?
Yeah, dude, fucking do it.
Oh, they got. Oh, okay.
Ooh. All right. So first thing I'm looking at, Killjoy got Hairnets back. So I think, is it worth watching?
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be worth watching. No, it's gonna be worth watching. We got Spooky on the Agni. We have to know, dude. He's wanting this pick.
Spooky on the Agni. We also get Jazonk on the Ishtar.
Yeah.
So you know, potentially some action there. Back on the Maui for Rachel, which I really liked him on in game number 1. Guardian solos here.
Real quick.
Guardian solo here for Fuzzy, which, you know, may be a good adaptation there if you're getting soloed 30 seconds in.
Yeah. That's probably gonna feel better if I had to guess. I was gonna say I expect to hear from Fuzzy about this later.
Can you swap Maui and Ishar?
Did I not? Oh no, it reswapped them. My bad. There we go.
All right, and can you press M? No, it's not M. It's something else for the health bars, because we can't see the health bars.
What did I hit?
It's something in their names, because it applies when you're typing in their names.
Yeah.
So just try it again.
There it goes. There we go.
Boom.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was like, we'll get there. I'll just keep typing letters. It'll eventually come through. We'll figure it out.
Nice. All right. I mean, so, you know, first thing off the bat, taking a look at the builds once again, mirroring across the board. Obviously, the big difference is this, you know, this soul laner, the soul lane difference. You get a Guardian finally over there, which, as good as Guardians are, as much we've seen Cthulhu, especially the last couple of weeks, I'm a little bit surprised that we've waited as long as we have to see any Guardian presence over there so far in this set. Not even banned away, right? But
right,
you get Fuzzy on this Xing Chen over the Cthulhu, which, you know, maybe I can see, especially when you're bringing that big CC ability, but not a lot of capitalization off of that. Like, not a lot of other CC ability other than the very single target Horus that you're maybe benefiting off of that.
And I was gonna say, but I like this comp a lot. I like the dive of a Horus with the Xing Chen that can just wash machine people away or throw them into the damage. I think it's gonna feel pretty good, especially when you have a Wild Hunt on your team. But I think about how well Rachel played this Maui game number 1, and you pair it with an Ishtar. That has to feel good.
You know what I really like? And I know Killjoy, so this is why this is so exciting, is because of the backdoor potential of the Horus.
Yeah.
So,
we do like that. Oh no.
We also like Fuzzy falling for first blood yet again. This time, at the very least, it's not necessarily a mistake. It's more of a lost fight.
Yeah.
But still unfortunate. And especially now, look at KJ. Hold on. Back up. Rewind.
Yeah.
But watch specifically as this fight. Watch KJ in the bottom left, like his thing, or on the left side of the screen. We do see a fight, couple CC out. KJ dashes in, so will not have that for an escape now if they look to turn things around. First blood falls over in the solo side as we were watching. Jazark takes a little bit of damage from that Bramble Blast, but Killjoy now gets grabbed and tanks. A lot of these objectives will be taken down as well. Look at him.
How did he live?
Oh man, that's got to be single digit HP right there. Killjoy on a nice edge over in the dual lane.
That is, and if you're Jazz, you're like, come on, just give me the kill. As we do have Magnetic getting aggressive again on this Rad Task with the Simic Glimmo ultimate yet again. Going to be feeling pretty good here. Can do what Thor did, just a little bit differently. Obviously, you do want to build Rad Tasker at least with a little bit of tankiness. Take it from me. I played it in jungle AGL last season and got bodied. Don't do that. But I am curious to see how this rat builds. I expect kind of a similar idea that we saw to the Thor, as aggression is still going on over here in the dual lane, and this time it's Rachel that's under the fire.
Yeah, Kamazats was taken. Will get traded back. A lot of that damage, though, in both supports now. Wishing they had a couple more health pots left in the tank. Kamazats was taken actually has 3 of them. It's just Rachel who's out of the health pots. But still, I mean, we get some of that aggression. We've only found the 1 kill over in the solo lane. And so now maybe this is where you're expecting to be. A little bit slower in the game, similar to what we saw in game number 1. But as these purple buffs spawn, this may be the opportunity that the Hairnets are looking for. They've got the warrior support, the Kernos ADC. I mean, if there was ever a time to try and force your aggression, now would be the time. But, I mean, they're still sort of holding off on the back foot.
Yeah, I kind of expected them to try to go for an invade there, but I think you have to worry about what this Maui can do. in the sense of not just with the pull, but throwing down the Alua and being able to, teleport your carry wherever you need them to with you is kind of good. So maybe that just keeps them from doing it. But I am a little bit surprised they didn't try to go through and push the aggression there onto that purple buff.
Yeah, we'll still just do some trading here back and forth. And now Rachel, without the luxury of health pots, every bit of damage he takes here in this lane over the next couple of minutes will be even more important. But transitioning away from dual lane for a hot second, going towards the mid lane, Real Techie choosing this Baba Yaga. And in fact, Baba Yaga Agni, 2 picks that we have not seen up until this point. Wondering maybe we're seeing a Scylla ban there if we had gotten to see picks and bans. Not 100% sure, but regardless, you go towards this Baba Yaga, and not really a pick that we've seen a lot of, but I think very similar to Scylla in the terms that you get stacking online early, you play maybe a slightly slower early game, and then you're really dealing out the damage later on in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like, your ultimate makes you relatively tanky with the book build, and then you get to just deal out loads of damage over a large area with the ultimate. Really and truly, like, it's feeling good. It does a similar idea. Obviously, you just don't have the execute that allows you to keep on killing with your ultimate, but I think it does do the same type of job here. But I really like Spooky on this Agni this time around. I think it just provides a more artillery type of play, and with the way that Spooky's been having to play, I think that's going to provide just a better gameplay experience for him, but his whole entire team as well. Spooky's going to be able to, cast on the back line and be able to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree, especially with how focused he was as the Morgan Le Fay last game, and how, he ended up stranded in the back line a couple of times. He's not able to necessarily get in there and deal his damage as close up as he wanted to. Meanwhile, though, I think this really favors, hold a thought though, fight over on the left-hand side. Jazonk will be forced to use the beads. So we'll have that on cooldown for the next couple of minutes as this purple buff has respawned as well. So an opportunity yet again for a steal if they're looking to be aggressive. And Killjoy, it does look like they're looking to be aggressive. So we'll at least force the 2v2 fight here around this purple buff. But I'm not sure that anything is really going to come of this past the steal. Like, I don't think that they have enough. Either team has enough in the tank to really force an engage here and be at risk. So it'll just be a little bit of pressure and no kills straight back.
Magnetic has been getting very active on this Ratatasker. He's been back here at these buffs with Munching Boot multiple times at this point. And now we see Spooky playing for a red buff invade. Doesn't end up getting it, but there's the ultimate we're talking about. I mean, just being able to chunk out a lot of damage there. Spooky goes in looking for the kill. It's going to be one way or the other. So far, both of them are off the mark, and they both have to retreat. Wow.
How do they both live?
I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
That's insane. Spooky is off the mark with that bomb, unfortunately, and will actually bait the ultimate out of Rachel, so that landfall gets expended. But you get the ultimate out of these mid laners. You get a couple of ultimates, at least a couple of those bombs out of Spooky as you steal the red buff away. But that's what I was mentioning about that ultimate for Real Techie. Notice how, remember how in game number 2, how early on in fights he was being forced to use that I'm a monster. Right? He has to have the CC immunity, has to have the movement speed. As a result, you were getting value out of that ultimate, but maybe not as much value as you wanted. Meanwhile, you want to go into the house early in fights if you're Baba Yaga. Like, it benefits his playstyle so much more with the potential of these ults to provide CC and then deal damage and control the area after these fights are off the bat starting, as Magnetic still looking to be aggressive on these back camps, some fighting in mid as well. Both teams after this first blood, it seemed eager to try and get involved and try and find some kills, but nobody's willing to take that much of a risk. Yeah, I mean, you saw a huge grouping there by DaddyDayCare. I thought they might just kind of run it mid or start running over to Goldfury and force a fight, but instead they just kind of break off back to, oh, let's go farm, because they do have a lead. I mean, there's a 2-level lead in solo. There's a level, like probably a half-a-level lead in mid here. As Rachel goes in, Spooky could be in trouble, is able to dash out though. But I mean, that's the concerning part here, is that DaddyDayCare is going for a similar play style as last game. You know, let's get this early start, let's get this aggression going. I don't know that Hanford Hairnets is going to let that take place for too long. It's a 2k gold lead in favor of DaddyDayCare at the moment, but
Camazotz is rotated mid here, and I think that's going to go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, both supports definitely making their presence known now in mid, and we may get something similar to game number 1, where a lot of that fighting action for the first 15 minutes was around that mid 2v2, mid 3v3. But look at Magnetic going up into the air, maybe thought that they were invading the red buff, so just playing it safe with that ultimate. But that shows how on a wire's edge both of these teams are. Just at the thought that they could be invading the red buff, you're immediately into the semi-global ultimate just to try and defend that buff, make sure your teammates are okay. And sure enough, we've seen basically no fighting thus far. But look at this scoreboard. They've managed to amass a 2,000 gold lead with no action whatsoever.
Yeah, it's not just the gold. It's 2,000 XP too. I mean, it's a pretty big diff right now as good damage gets poked out here. Real Techie, I don't think is in any like real trouble since Spooky walked away, but like I said, DaddyDayCare is looking to get active early, and that's just like getting this neutral farm down, being able to invade these camps. We've seen Magnetic back at the back camps of Hanford Hairnets multiple times. They're playing aggressive. They're stepping up and they're saying, hey, we're going to come take your back camps. We're going to take these side camps. You're going to have to come fight us over them. Oh, you want to go try to take our red buff possibly? We're going to get value and make sure we're being active everywhere this time around. And I think it's a good play style for them. It seemed to fit last game, and it's doing pretty well this game. But my concern for them is Killjoy. Killjoy, if you let him farm by himself, proved in game number 1 how bad that could be for DaddyDayCare, and it seems like what they're doing again. I would expect Magnetic to probably start getting active over there sooner rather than later, but we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, this time around, at the very least, he's managed, maybe a half a level lead on this Kronos, but you've really given Jazonk, I think, a better tool in the arsenal to try and deal with Killjoy. Giving this Ishtar over, the 2 most powerful ADCs, like you mentioned, game number 1 and number 2, over there on that left-hand side. So nobody has a real serious advantage into the matchup here. As Magnetic and Skills playing hooky or around, they will trade. That's miraculous. Both of those went down at like exactly the same time. So the fact that they trade 1 and 1 on those is kind of wild. But regardless, trade and farm, and that's how cautious both of these teams are being, right? And now that we're 10 or so minutes in the game, got the Pyromancer on the map, got the Gold Fury on the map, every objective is up to be looked at if there were to potentially be a fight. And the first Obelisk has been taken down, and the Trebuchet has been taken down as well. So you've lost that advantage early on in this game as well, whether you wanted to or not. But now taking a look at the builds, I'm most interested if this is going to keep up at this pace, or if somebody's going to be looking for a spike to maybe try and force something here in the next 5 minutes or so.
I mean, Magnetic got this Transcendence online, and that is going to be feeling pretty good, especially once it gets stacked, especially over this Soul Eater that Clean is going to build. Obviously you want that lifesteal, but the power spike just isn't as good. If Magnetic gets online here in the next 3 minutes, this could be very problematic for them. I think what's more interesting is that Fuzzy goes for the Book of Thoth on the Jing Chen here.
Interesting.
I'm a little bit surprised about that. Not something I generally see over in the solo lane, but then again, I don't really play a lot of solo. But just a little bit interesting to see that stacking item over there this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they will be able to secure their own blue on that side. My biggest focus is around, you mentioned that Transcendence for Magnetic, right? That's a stacking item in that second slot. Right, so you're holding off on the first slot, and granted, you have to build your acorn, so hard not to do that. But you're also getting a double stack, it looks like, from Real Techie. Now, that's going to be benefited by the Baba Yaga passive. So you're going to be able to get that online a little bit earlier than if you built it anybody else, pretty much. But still having that passive, and Magnetic gets caught right here.
No.
Oh my goodness, the CC chain is too strong.
Oh, they're going
looking
in
for even more. Camazotz into the ultimate, gonna continue the pressure here, and Jazonk is the target. just barely looking to hit that CC and will hit the knockup, but Skills is in range for this bit of damage. The landfall will slow things down, and trying desperately to peel is Rachel. Will not be enough though, and Killjoy takes down the second kill, may even find a third if Rachel sticks around for too long. But this ultimate from Real Techie has put him in the center of the sights for Hanford Hairnets, and that will enable the red to be taken, maybe even the Gold Fury.
Oh, it's definitely gonna be a gold pool. Magnetic is up in the trees looking for it through the Cosmos and lands on the Spooky, but pays the price. This gets 100 to 0'd in the matter of seconds there by the Tearing the Veil. Really just a great play there by Skills.
Oh my goodness, just barely able to not take down SpookyMars. But even if you do take down Mars, I'm not sure if it's like it's still 1-for-1. You still lose the Gold Fury.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a reason to go in there.
Yeah, I mean, if you had held on to the Ratatosker ultimate up until you could like sit over the Gold Fury, you're probably able to delay that long enough and allow your team to potentially get back into the fight. But all of a sudden, everything goes from ahead for DaddyDayCare, quietly farming up, maintaining their lead, and now we're right back to even, all off of one pick turns into another pick, turns into another pick, and the first and third picks were the same character, by the way.
Yeah,
and then they get the Gold Fury, so all of a sudden they're just right back into it.
Yeah, I mean, the tower falls on the solo side. I mean, but that's not really that big of a deal. I think Fuzzy's okay with that. It opens up the farming a little bit easier. I'm getting concerned for DaddyDayCare that this Kleena is getting online. This could be problematic for them. This Ratatasker really needed to push a lead and be able to get kills and stacks as fast as possible, but has been sitting at 16 stacks for a considerable amount of time on this Transcendence.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it's bugged because he just went from 16 to 26.
He did. Okay.
There's nothing in the game that gives you 10 stacks.
No, I just wanted to, I was concerned that someone took stacks while he was farming the back camps. I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
Good stun.
No, I mean, will be some pressure though, and Pyromancer is up on this side of the map, so they could potentially look for this additional objective if they wanted to, but instead will just be Munching Boo, who's caught out here between a rock and a hard place and will not be able to find any tension onto the enemy team. So everybody backs off, everybody goes towards their farming, and DaddyDayCare still trying to play the slow game, and sure enough, they're back up to a 1,000 gold lead, right? I mean, they keep doing it. They keep finding farm a little bit better, matching the neutral farm, taking the very small fights when they want to take the small fights. And with these builds coming out from them, eventually you're going to take a fight and Rat's going to be fully stacked, and Baba Yaga is going to be fully double stacked, and I'm not sure you win that fight.
Yeah, I mean, that right tower going down for them made it where they had that little bit of extra gold lead come back into their favor. But you do have to be concerned about these stacking builds coming online very quickly. I mean, we're talking about, it's almost 16 minutes in the game. Bomb almost has 2 full items stacked. This Transcendence is on the way to being stacked by Ratatasker. It's a huge power spike. And this could become problematic very quickly for Hanford Hairnets if they don't play it carefully. But I kind of like what they're doing here. They are putting pressure on this Ishtar. Skills looking to get active. They get the Aegis from Jazz here and an ultimate. That just has to feel good. It's going to open up a tower on this left-hand side if they want to go for it, or more importantly, the farm that's just not there.
Yeah, but I mean, they will at least force the ultimate, though. They trade 1-for-1 on the ultimates, but it feels good, especially for KJ, who once again has managed to amass a 2-level lead here, right, on the Kernos, which, I mean, maybe, at some point, you got to start getting him involved in fights. Last time he had this kind of lead, it took a while for them to start getting him involved in fights, and then once they did, it was almost lights out, essentially. But
I agree. I think I'm concerned for DaddyDayCare. They haven't ganked him again. I mean, this is, if you're just going to let him farm for free, he's going to run the game. And this isn't just like, this is any ADC. If you let them free farm like this and get so much pressure, they're going to run the game. They're going to shred your objectives down. They're going to come to a team fight. They're going to destroy your tanks. They're going to destroy your carries, and it becomes very problematic very quickly. You have to dive them. That's what this Ratatasker is meant to do, and we just haven't seen it rotate over there. One thing I wanted to ask you, can Kleena go into Maui Island
No, Lena
Okay.
can't go into any player-made walls.
I think she can go into Odin Cage, but that's a whole other conversation. Spooky just gets ran out and deleted.
If she can go into Odin Cage, then it's probably the same for all player-made walls. I just thought all player-made walls she can't go into, but she might be able to go into.
I need to test that later.
Yeah, well,
oh, DaddyDayCare,
they do secure the objective at the very least. Fuzzy's not successful in his steal attempt, but will be successful in disrupting the enemy team and at least forcing them off any further type of engagement. But SpookyMars getting picked before that, we just completely glossed over that one, as he falls essentially for free, gets caught out in the jungle with that dash on cooldown, and it'll be a free objective for DaddyDayCare as a result.
Yeah, and this Gold Fury is coming back up. I think DaddyDayCare need to try to get a pick here and rotate over as soon as possible. I don't know if that's going to get to happen. The one thing that Hanford Hairnets have done very well in this entire set is controlling the obelisk in these trebs. I mean, they've had them pretty much on cooldown all 3 games. So I will say their cup control has been very, very good throughout the set.
Yeah, no, I mean, making sure that they have the trebuchets. I will say pushing them maybe in not the best of spots, is that they're sort of consistently being taken down with almost no value there in the mid lane. But, you know, at the very least, they're getting that gold. They're getting that little bit of experience, a little bit of gold as they pick up those cups, as they secure the obelisk. And maybe that's part of you know, the fact that they've been able to maintain a steady lead here. But Great Chill, or rather Kamazot's being forced down and will fall for the pick leading up towards this Gold Fury, but still 3 members in the vicinity here, and it will be an engagement early on. Huge landfall, pulls back 2, and Skills is soon to fall. Magnetic picks up the second of this fight, and SpookyMars and Killjoy looking to chase down the jungler, but they're missing the abilities. Fuzzy Wuzzy has forced the rest of the red team out of this fight, and now Spooky is walking the wrong direction. He's not going to be able to survive, and it's Killjoy as well, who's been turned around on by real techie. SpookyMars gets taken down. Killjoy turns it around. He's able to take down the mid laner, but he steps into the Gold Fury, and he gets taken down by the jungler as well. A huge fight for DaddyDayCare, and they're still going to be able to pick up this one up.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought Killjoy was gonna die to Gold Fury there for a second. I was like, oh, he doesn't know. Like, I've been there where you're backpedaling thinking you're about to be out, and the Gold Fury ticks you for some damage, and then it's not a good time. Okay.
Oh, they're looking for it. Kamazot is going to find the damage potentially. DaddyDayCare does secure it, though, at the very least. So neither of these tanks able to make an impact. Hanford Hairnets are going to find themselves now 4,000 gold down at 20 minutes, and it's a good pickup for DaddyDayCare.
Yeah, this is a really good positioning and just good objective play by DaddyDayCare here. They force a good fight into their favor. They're able to pick up the Gold Fury. They're just pushing that lead ever so slowly, and that's fine. Take your time getting there, but at some point you have to say, hey, we need to exchange these, and then when are we going to pull fire? What is the plan, and how do we get Fire Giant till we can push down these towers? And it's the same thing on the opposite side. For the Hanford Hairnets, they have to be asking themselves, who are we picking? Who is the problem? And if it's up to me, I think it's the Baba Yaga and the Ratatasker. You have to figure out how not to let Real Techie just, I don't know, throw a bunch of fire pulls down at your feet and take damage for free. But you also have to be able to get this Ratatasker not diving you and stunning your team while they're at it, which is, oh my goodness, Fuzzy is eating a ton of damage here, and through the Cosmos is going to come out with Landfall. Whew.
Yeah, no chance of surviving there for the solo laner. On the other side, Kamazot's was taken under a little bit of pressure, as is the mid laner. SpookyMars getting chased down by this home sweet home, will fall to about 25% HP. This may open up a window for the Fire Giant, but all the while, neither ADC cares to take part in the fight on this right-hand side. Killjoy instead just pushing up slowly, and is the first on the map to hit level 20 over there on that left-hand side, right? So he is close to being able to finish out that build. He is already at the max amount of scaling he can get in those abilities, so you're gonna want to start getting him involved in these fights as opposed to split pushing over here on the left side.
No, I think now, he has enough money if he wants to go through and upgrade the starter. I don't know if that's his plan this game. We saw last game he sold it and bought Dominance. I'm curious to see what he decides he wants to go with here, but you need to get Killjoy active in the game. You need to get him in these team fights, because if your ADC's there and theirs isn't, that is a huge damage spike in your favor. You have to get him involved.
They're on the fire giant.
Oh my God, DaddyDayCare, so they don't care. They're going for fire.
They've just picked it up. They've rotated their ADC over here. Killjoy is still not going to be present for this fight, but they just step off of it. Real Techie was walking towards it, so I mean, it was at least a 4v5, or a 4v4 rather, but instead of continuing to try and push for the advantage, they've sent Real Techie over here to try and defend the tier 2 instead, and I think they should have taken the risk.
Yeah, I think you go for the 5v4 at fire, take fire, because now you put your mid laner over here with Killjoy, who's just eating damage for free and gets soloed.
Oh my God. Yeah, that is not a great look from KJ. Not a great look from SpookyMars either, as it's now the tanks that are trying to slow this one down, as Skills is the only remaining member that's got that major source of damage on the board. But a double stun from Rachel is gonna slow down Fuzzy, slow down Camazotz was taken as well on the retreat, as the back under the tower may not be good. Magnetic looking for a cheeky stun there, but they will at least get this tier 1 tower, likely some space for them to push down the tier 2 as well as they wanted. And it's just DaddyDayCare just taking advantage of the Hairnets' mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, really just a great play there by Real Techie to pick up that kill, because that really could have went in favor of Killjoy there. And if Killjoy picks up the kill on Real Techie, that's a Phoenix. You know what I mean? And now they have this advantage. The mid lane push down. They need to be able to get out here, which it looks like they're going to be able to. And I expect they're going to fight over this Fire Giant again. They know that, hey, we fought the 4v4 last time and it went pretty well in our favor. Let's make them step up again, and we'll just do it again with more items.
Well, now, at the very least, I mean, they are in the most dominant position they've been in all game. The difference is that, you know, it might be dominant in terms of the lead that they have. It might be dominant in terms of even the positioning that they have, although that's not currently the case. But KJ's now rotated. That's huge.
Here. Yeah,
that's
this
massive.
could be...
The ADC is here. There's finally a 5v5. His Killjoy is trying to make an impact, and sure enough, that bolsters his team, ready to engage, and the ultimates are up into the sky. Landfall comes out, as does the Through the Skies. Come through, and Real Techie finds Fuzzy as the first kill, but KJ is on to the jungler, chasing him down under the tier 1 tower, and now Rachel come over to try and help out. Feeds get forced, and Killjoy's trying to hit 3, but he might kill all 3. SpookyMars is there with the help. Killjoy now trapped between a rock and a hard place, has to try and turn it around, and not enough damage as the blue team gets forced off of the objective, and it will be yet another win for DaddyDayCare.
Yeah, something's happening in comms here where Killjoy is getting out by himself each of these fights. And if they could get a tank with Killjoy, that's GG's, man. I don't know. Like, 1v3 and almost picks up all of them, does trade the 1-for-1. This should be a Fire Giant in favor of DaddyDayCare here. But DaddyDayCare need to be careful. They've gotten lucky this past time with the Killjoy in the situation of where he was positioned. I don't know if that happens again. If Killjoy's positioned with the rest of the team, the way he's been playing this set and the ability to, I don't know, just get missed by enemy damage, I think that could be detrimental for them. That has to be their target. They need Magnetic to not only when they get the dive onto this Cernanos to take him out, because Magnetic did land the dive on the KJ there, but it wasn't able to take him out.
The amount of raw damage that your ADC is putting out, and the fact that, like, that is one truth, and then you add to that the amount of help he is not getting.
Yeah,
that is also a truth. And if you change one of those, it hugely benefits one of these teams, right? You either lower the damage of the ADC and you get a win for DaddyDayCare, or you just give Killjoy more help and you potentially get a fight win for the Hanford Hairnets, right? And granted, your characters here, you know, not the best in terms of peel. Your soul laner wants to be up fighting, wants to be using that ultimate aggressively. Camazotz was taken on this Horus a lot of single target damage and also wants to be using it aggressively typically, but I mean, you got to take one for the team here, man.
Yeah, and this is a problem. I mean, DaddyDayCare, this game's starting to spiral into their favor as they now eclipse 8,000 gold in their favor. And you have 2 people over for Hanford Hairnets on the tier 2.
I thought he was going to stop the
I
back.
did too.
Now it's a 4v5 potentially around this Phoenix, but it will be a 4v3 still around this tier 2 tower. And I think smartly, DaddyDayCare slow down. They take the gold that they've gotten, almost now up to a 10,000 gold lead. They're going to finish off some of these builds. All of the starter items upgraded, bar the support here, who may just be waiting for that last bit of gold. Rachel still left in the base right there, looking for that last item. But I mean, everybody is virtually full build here, bar the supports. Yep, he does get that upgrade online, and that's the sieging version of the upgrade. You're going to be healing off of those minion kills as you still have more than half of this fire giant buff left. But at the same time, you're getting a push over here by the Hanford Hairnets. They're not in a defensive position. They're going to try and get their own tier 2 tower, and they likely will, but I'm not sure that they win a base race. I don't think they win a base race. They got it back.
No, they don't. Okay, I was gonna say what? Because I mean, just the position, the Fuzzy too, just proxying that wave. They force the back of Magnetic. This could be absolutely huge for Hanford Hairnets. They have an ult that allows them to gauge their entire team onto somebody. They push a Treb up mid lane too. This is a lot of pressure for them. This is a great way to counter the fire giant, but instead, DaddyDayCare smartly walk away. They say, we're not gonna fight you right now. We're going to wait it out a little bit. I think that is the right move here. They're just going to go take away the Pyro.
At the very least, because of that macro play, you could say that that's the reason that DaddyDayCare back off, right? They force their jungler back to base, so they do not get to push the Phoenix as a result. And now, look how far these waves are pushed up. If you want a Phoenix... Yeah, I mean, Fuzzy, both the tanks are behind the characters right here, right? Horizon coming in, a bunch of ultimates getting traded, skills get forced into a wrong neighborhood, and Magnetic takes down the enemy jungler, but a 3-man whirlwind of Rage and Steel, and everybody is in the washing machine, and now gets pulled under the Phoenix, but it's just the health bars that are going to get low. No kills taken back for Hanford Hairnets, and instead it'll just be the one pick for DaddyDayCare. That's not enough to net them a Phoenix. Everybody has to back up and reset for this next objective.
That was just a crazy play there. I mean, that was, and I like the ultimate in there by Camazotz was taken just to disrupt the fight, allow Fuzzy a way in to get that, you know, damage, not the CC and the damage off. There's throwing them in to the Phoenix, throwing them into KJ there, allowing him just to freely cast. This is what we're talking about. When, you know, you want this Kurnos to freely throw out Bramble Blast. You want him to be able to throw the Autos. You want Spooky to land these bombs and just get the flames going. And really and truly, I think that's how they have to play this. They have to be able to surprise DaddyDayCare. That you're talking about 11,000 gold deficit. It's not this straight up let's fight them 5v5 and run at each other. It's going to have to be a little bit of cleverness in these fights.
They are set up now towards this spawning fire giant. Once again, it will be the enhanced version of this one, but they may not wait for it to find the engage. A 3-man landfall, a 3-man Kukulkan ultimate starts off the fight, and 2 of the tanks get pulled back into the wrong neighborhood as Killjoy is also in front of the enemy, but Munching Boo, he's the one who pushes up too far, and Rachel now pushes up too far as well. Jazonk takes down at least one in trade, but it'll be a 2-for-1, and after a huge engage from DaddyDayCare, they end up on the wrong side of it.
I have to say, what a great landfall to start it off with. But remember when I said Ratatasker needs to build a little bit tanky because if he just dives in, he gets shredded? This has happened twice now. The target has been Killjoy. The target's Killjoy. They jump down on him. They immediately eat autos because he beadses, and, you know, they almost get taken off the map. Magnetic is just not having a good time here. But I think maybe you change targets. Maybe Spooky becomes your target. Maybe Skills becomes your target as this Ratatasker. Jumping straight down on the Killjoy just hasn't been benefiting you.
Fire Giant started up now by the Hairnets as they are still in favor in a member, right? But Magnetic, he blinks and he misses everything, and he gets swallowed whole, taken down, and it will only be Jazonk and Real Techie in range to try and steal away this Fire Giant. It's Jazonk looking potentially for it, but Hairnets secure it with the Rain Fire, and they will take down the enhanced Fire Giant now on all 5 members. What a sequence for the blue side.
And they didn't even have Fuzzy. Fuzzy was just over on left lane going, I'm going to protect the Phoenix guys. You guys go take the Fire Giant. Everything will be okay. And really and truly, that's what I was talking about. If Magnetic keeps diving Killjoy, Magnetic's going to get put to the gray screen. It's not a question of can KJ land this damage. All you do is throw a Bramble Blast. Oh, cool. Let me just auto you to death. It doesn't feel good. You have to pick one of these other targets, one of these other squishies. You look at who else is there. I don't know that you can jump on an Agni and kill it, because honestly, if Agni drops the bombs as you land, you're probably dead. I don't know that you can jump on the Kleena because she just tears the veil and you're probably dead. But one of those targets has to be better than diving this Kurnanos.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing though, right? If maybe you change to diving Spooky, but why dive Spooky if he doesn't have any damage? Spooky's not doing anything. It's literally all Killjoy. Like, all of the damage is coming from this Cernanos, even if you have to sacrifice a couple of players for it. Like, you have to be diving the person who's gonna win you the fight, because if you dive Spooky, then Killjoy just gets to free cast for the whole. That's not a good solution, right?
No,
like,
I mean, it's not. But I mean, like, you can't just send Magnetic by himself at this Kurnanos, which just happened again, by the way, and he just gets shredded.
No, he's about to get. She gets forced up into the air. The landfall puts KJ though in the middle of 5 red members, and he will get the shield there from the horror assault, but he does not get taken down. He's still just dealing the damage. At the very least, he gets traded and turns into a 4v4. Sure enough, the focus was on the Killjoy early, and they're at least able to take him down for the enemy ADC. But Munching Boo and Real Techie still looking to continue this fight. Barely. Real Techie's so low now, and it might be Munching Boo, but the blink in from Skills secures the mid laner, and the support will take Munching Boo to his doom. He takes the path of the second ability, and he gets taken right into the whale from Skills, and that's going to open up a Phoenix. Apparently, you don't need Killjoy.
I mean, yeah, I mean, Skills, with this tearing the veil, I mean, it does a lot of damage. You have a lot of good things that come from this Kleena. The silence, the amount of damage that comes out, the lack you can hide in a wall and spook somebody and scare them a little bit, cause some jump scares. That Kleena does all these things so well, and people just kind of forget that she exists, especially in games like this where, you know, you thought you're out. She goes into the wall. She does a ton of damage. And then you're like, oh, I'm out. Oh, no. She has a blink dash, and that dash goes a very long way. Just a really great play here by Skills. Again, for the 3rd game in a row, Skills has really been doing a lot in these fights and doing a lot in these games, just willing his team to victory along with Killjoy and the rest of the squad here. But I really do think, you know, maybe that's someone to look at with your dive for Magnetic. Can you delete the Kleena fast enough? Can you jump on it, hit it with the Acorn Blast, get the stun into, you know, a Fury, and hopefully get the kill? I don't know, but I think you have to start switching up the solution here. Obviously, the solution to the last fight was, hey, we're all going to dive Killjoy, and that worked out. But that might not work out this time around, where Killjoy has beads coming up in 30 seconds. We'll just have to see.
Well, here's the weird part about last fight is, like, we're not even talking about who Magnetic should dive. They were diving Magnetic. He pushed up too far. He got forced into the ultimate. So maybe, like, there's a part of this where you're talking about, hey, let's not start the fight. Let's try and counter engage, right? Let's try and force their first member to fall and force them to sort of find an engage, because they don't have the most fantastic engage. Gonna be slowed down here. Huge 2-man ultimate there from Munching Boo as he's already in, and Magnetic down low, but a huge 4-man landfall takes everybody under the tier 1 tower, and SpookyMars falls, Fuzzy falls, Killjoy trades back the jungler at the very least. Skills is now immediately under the pressure there and will be feeling
it's not gonna be fast enough. It's not gonna be fast enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. Skills will fall as well, and the turnaround from the tank combination of ultimates is Killjoy will fall as well. The difference maker is the landfall. Slap it on a movie screen, baby. That was beautiful.
That is just insane. I mean, just Rachel on this Maui. I said it earlier when we saw the Maui for game 3. Rachel on this Maui is a difference maker. I mean, game 1, yeah, they might have lost, but Rachel played very, very well on this Maui, and Maui is doing a lot in these fights this game. Munching Boo had a great ultimate in. Munching Boo almost falls to Phoenix there, a little bit risky, but I think now we're seeing the value of this landfall when it's connecting with multiple targets. Obviously, Munchinboo helped set that up. Jazz is back in here. I don't know if Camazotz was taken, is going to see it. No, ends up letting it go, but Munchinboo could be in trouble here.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The back
He's
is
left
stopped.
Alone.
This
Back
could be a
is
problematic.
stopped. Nobody's in range, though, at the very least, and I don't think Camazotz was taken is going to be able to continue this chase by himself. But critically, this mid Phoenix is now down. You have fire minions pushing in, and you now have the advantage in terms of time. You can set up around this fire giant, you can dance, you can hold off on the engage, and you are the ones who are going to win that battle of time. As a result, you're sort of forcing the Hairnets to look for an engage, and we've seen the only 2 fights that DaddyDayCare have really dominated in were the last 2 fights where they were not the ones engaging. Right? Everybody was engaging under that tier 1 tower. Sure enough, they all get punished. Right? They start to engage on magnetic, they get the 1-for-1. Killjoy falls. So, I mean, forcing the engage, your hand is almost being forced here, but they're playing a little bit differently, and instead it's going to be the junglers starting out with a 1v1 in mid lane, essentially. But oh my god! Oh my god!
No shot, dude.
Landfall again! And Killjoy gets punished for it! Taken down Fuzzy, it will be the next to fall, and Camazotz was taken, will be the 3rd underground for a triple kill for Jazonk. SpookyMars and Skills now the only 2 left alive. Beads get forced, and this Phoenix doesn't even need to be focused, as the Titan will turn into the target of DaddyDayCare. But they still have these 2 members up, and they're damage dealers. They cannot force this if they're not
big
careful.
bombs.
Huge rain fire, and 3 go down. Skills finds 2 of them, and Rachel and Magnetic are the only ones left alive. A huge landfall leads to a fight win, but they overstep, and we're back to even.
Okay, first of all, that landfall, absolutely insane. Right, if I ever see Ray in my games and I'm playing comp, I'm banning that god. Like, I'm not letting that through at all. Just absolute insane value off the ultimate by itself. You could just you could have the rest of the kit not be there, and the value they're getting off a landfall is just insane. But the fact that they walk into Titan Room rather than go just take a Phoenix, thinking they're going to take this 2v5 against Skills, who does a lot of damage, against Spooky, who does a lot of damage, just go take EFG. Just take the easy route. You did it the past 2 games when you wanted to try to win. Why now did you decide to step into the Titan Room and try to 2v5? I get that you think you had it. I get it. But, like, you get put down. And like, oh, man, it's rough.
Now, though, things have been reset, and it's all 5 members of the Hairnets here that are here before the members of DaddyDayCare. They're still respawning, right? So they're not going to be here necessarily in time unless it's Rachel here to maybe save the day again. He's the only one in range, as Magnetic now will get into range by going up into this tree, right? On a branch, just making them think about their decisions, and doing a good job of doing so. Will delay the fire giant ever so slightly, give his team time to get there. They're looking for it, and Hairnets are able to secure the objective, and the ultimates have already started to be traded back and forth, but it's the Hairnets playing it perfectly, balancing the damage so it does not fall into steal range of the Ratatoskr ultimate, taking down the objective and backing off. And now they're in the driver's seat once again.
Yeah, you have to clear this mid wave. Your Phoenix is about to come back up. That's going to be huge. Get the Titan regen on it. And now you get to take the fight to them, and I think that's going to be important here. You have to bait out the Maui ult. You cannot be grouped as 4 in the jungle. The great thing is if you're fighting the lanes, landfall is probably not going to get as much value unless you're just literally grouped all together. So I think this is a huge advantage to Hanford Hairnets. If they can avoid fighting in the jungle, this should go a lot better for them. They're going to do obviously a split. Some are going to go left. I think they'll probably send 1 or 2 down mid here. They're going to look for that tier 2 tower, but ultimately they're looking for Phoenixes in a way to end the game.
You know, if you split 3-2, you actually can't get hit by a 4-man Maui ultimate.
That's
it's
true.
Not possible.
It's true.
So
he rips up the whole conquest map.
That may be the way to avoid it. I'm not sure. So they do have some potential, as well as you got to keep thinking about they've got the backdoor potential.
Yep.
Potentially. So if they're able to get one of these Phoenixes, if they're able to get out, but look at Magnetic in the jungle here. He's gonna. I don't
like this. I don't like this at all.
He walked over a ward for sure. So they're gonna get the tier 2 tower, but he's caught. He has to ult. And he doesn't know that he has to ult. Okay, all right. He doesn't have to ult. They all go low. They take the time to clear out the minion wave. But I mean, this has got once again. They've only got one shot at this. There's no in and out. Like this is the fight.
I think they have to do a split here. They cannot all stand together. If Maui lands a landfall here, it could be game.
They have the minion wave, and they've got quite a beefy minion wave at that. But AJ firing out some autos. We'll just try and get some damage off. But look at the Horus. Horus going all the way towards that right-hand side is going to try and force the right-hand Phoenix.
This is huge. This is huge.
This will allow, they've got that backdoor protection shred, so this Phoenix will fall with nobody there to defend it. And at least now they break the base open. Nobody falls on either side. So minions get taken down. This Phoenix will fall on the right-hand side. That is the Phoenix you want to fall, though, if one had to fall. So you're still at least able to begin to fight back into this. So this is not enough. They have to continue fighting, continue being ready to push this down, but it's a good start.
Look at this. They're pathing over to the left side without any vision on them. They're going to catch Magnetic out here, I think. Magnetic has to go into the ultimate. This is huge for Hanford Hairnets. He's going to jump out. Does he jump back in is the question. I don't think so. Now it comes down, can Rachel land the landfall of their life? And maybe. We'll just have to see how this plays out.
You got to think, for as much as it's in our heads, though, it's got to be in their heads as well, right? Rachel now looking for it and will hit only one member, but the other members are taken down so low instantly. Fuzzy falls, Killjoy taken down to 20% HP, and you don't need to hit the landfall if the rest of your team is going to follow it up with damage before it even happens. I mean, you surpassed, you're able to survive on the left side Phoenix, and that means that this fire giant is likely to fall off. We're likely to have another dance around this enhanced fire giant, and now it comes up. They've taken down the worst Phoenix for that. They're going to be able to continue pushing these waves and be able to defend this.
Yeah, I mean, so if the beads don't pop there, it was a 3-man landfall again. Just to be clear, Rachel only hits multi-man landfalls. Also, Killjoy dropped enhanced purple and didn't pick it up, and I'm offended. I just needed to show that.
I'm offended too.
I'm offended.
All right.
But, I mean...
If you want, you could ban him from your chat.
No, I'm not going to do that. No.
Okay,
no,
that's fair.
But I look at what's happening here, and, like, DaddyDayCare, they lose a Phoenix, but at least it's the right side one that has to feel pretty good here. But this landfall has to be living rent-free in the head of Hanford Hairnets. And you have to ask yourself, like, how do we get rid of the Maui? Like, what do we do here to get rid of this Maui? Because Maui is obviously the problem.
Dude, I think maybe they try and avoid it. Like, honestly, based on that Horus play, right? They clearly have that type of play in their heads, right? Where they took the Phoenix for free. They didn't have to deal with it at all. The base is open. I know I've been preaching the back door since minute one, Blaze. Like, I brought it up. But I'm just saying, it's there.
Yeah.
The option is there for them to completely avoid it if they want to.
If I had to get, I mean, I would.
Oh my god.
Yep, here it goes, dude.
No way, man. No.
Here it goes.
No
here it goes.
Shot.
Let's go, dude. Yep.
No way. No way. They're not going to realize it's just Fuzzy. He's alone.
This only gets worse if Fuzzy steals enhanced fire.
Idea. Bro, they have no earthly idea.
Does Fuzzy get fire too? Does Fuzzy get fire too? Does he get fire?
He's just stopping.
No, it doesn't matter.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What a way to end the set, dude. Just the backdoor coming through.
I'm at a loss for... I would, dude.
Yeah. That's a time, dude. That is, that's a time for sure.
I don't know what to say. I don't know what analysis to provide.
That's why you pick Horse. That's why you pick Horse. All right, you might... That's it right there, dude. That's why you pick him. Simple as that. I don't think there's a question about it. I mean, I just have to say, what a great set. For 2 games to go 40 plus minutes. I mean, just great games by both teams.
Yeah, but no, I mean, it was a good set.
That Maui play was...
I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed. I can't not be annoyed. And I'm not annoyed at you, KJ. That's not you, buddy. That is I'm annoyed at the enemy team. You, Rachel, I see you in chat there. I'm annoyed at you.
Oh man.
Tell me I didn't see that coming.
Yep, called it.
Minute
Called it before
one.
the game started. Yep.
And you guys are just gonna think you got a free fire? You're gonna be like 46 minutes in, you'd be like, oh, I guess they're not here. Weird. I guess we just take this. Like
that was wild.
That is an interesting one, man. That was really fun.